Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. North American stock futures back in negative territory in a big way so far this morning. We're seeing the sell-off continue that started late in the day yesterday as investors continue to push towards some more safe haven investments and away from growth stocks, tech stocks in particular, down big time again this morning. We'll talk about big tech. Under pressure here in the pre-market, and I mean those FANG stocks down about 1 to 2% right across the board. Everyone focusing on crypto markets, however, the slow but steady crash continuing in crypto markets. All of the stocks, equities that are tied in any way, shape, or form to cryptocurrency markets definitely getting sold here in the pre-market. We're going to talk about that. I think we bottomed out around 37,000 on Bitcoin this morning. We'll have a look at both BTC and Ethereum coming up here. We saw the Dow off 267 points at the end of the day yesterday. Both the S&P and NASDAQ about 0.5% to 1% at the end of the day fully. On the earnings front, Target shares, one of the only bright spots here, although they are coming off as well. They reported better than expected results. And as I mentioned, big tech going to be in focus once again today. The 10-year moving back to the upside. It's Wednesday, May 19th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. Yeah, there we go. Look at big red numbers right across the board. Unfortunately, one of those days setting up 1 full percent for the S&P. You can see the Dow trying to lead things higher, 0.8%, 1.5% for the NASDAQ, about 0.8% for the TSX here in Toronto as well. Yeah, Ethereum, about that. Big move, 24% on the day so far. Bitcoin, 12.5% at this point. So going to be the focus, I feel, for today, guys. Good morning. It is Wednesday. It is a red start to the day for crypto markets. Let's jump right into it here, guys. Big moves overnight after China coming out saying that they're going to start to control some of the transactions going into and out of crypto markets. Currencies did not like that.
Nope, not at all. And you go back and we can look at some charts in a minute here, but this is one of those situations where probably doesn't get said enough. I mean, for those of you that dabble or trade in crypto, and we've talked about the purpose ETFs, and they're fantastic and all, but you have to consider the fact that that's much better for your buy and hold. When you're actually trying to trade off actionable levels, the reality is you're going to want a real trading account that you're not sort of tied to, like, U.S. or North American market open. In that case, it would be Canada with those purpose ETFs. So, having access to be able to make some of these trades is just because you go back, and I'm just specifically looking at Ethereum, not to ramble on here, but you go all the way back into like the 23rd, 24th, and you get this like 2400 level that was a bit of a lower high that got put in. When you got that breakout, the reversal came just above that 2400 mark. So when you get a wipeout, another wipeout morning like this one, I mean, it just bounced off like 24.40. I mean, you catch any kind of that move in around 25, and it came right back. It was a very, very quick 10%. Before you blinked an eye, you're looking at like a 27.5 there. And those are the types of moves that can happen. I think, especially when you consider like your best buying opportunities. Now, you might have a chance of getting that price again as it's continuing to fall off, but more demonstrating the point that sometimes that's your best chance to get in. And it should be a wild one this morning. I actually came in thinking, just in the overall market in general, I came in thinking I'm probably not going to have too much in the pre-market in terms of trades, just given what, we're down 1.5%. We've had these flush outs and then crazy bounces back before. But of course, there were a couple of small caps, which I felt pretty comfortable being in because I don't know. It's not to say that I wouldn't trade a big cap name or get into something pre-market, but these are the types of days where sometimes waiting for that opening can be a good idea.
Yeah, welcome guys. This should be a very, very, very fun day, needless to say. And I actually put a poll up here and realized it's basically the same one that we have on the other site. Yeah. Are you guys buying, selling, or waiting for this move? Already 500 votes, so thank you so much for voting. And it's about 50-50 on the buying versus the waiting. Nobody, and we've talked about this before, nobody really selling. I mean, I wouldn't sell at these levels unless you really are nervous. But the thing about it is, look, you have to trade your own book, and you have to understand what you're doing. And Neil just talked about Ethereum. Ethereum is like, I actually looked at my last, one of my crypto statements, and the last time I sold, I did sell some in 4,000s, but the time before then was like 13 or 1,400, and that was only like 2 months ago, right? So I just want to look at this level just to keep everybody in perspective. Look, if you've been buying Bitcoin in the last month, 2 months, maybe a couple weeks, whatever the time frame is, you're down. There's no doubt about that. If you've been buying ever since February, you are now down, okay? But to me, this is a much bigger level, 30,000. This puts it back to flat for the year. We're only in May, so it's only 5 months in right now. Let's put this into perspective. If you look at a lot of names on charting, you know, we can look at DraftKings, a lot of different names out there, names that I like, Palantir, even Apple, Boeing, strong names. And you may not even be up on the year. Actually, I want to find out what the S&P is up on the year right now. I'll look into that and dig into that for you too. But Bitcoin, 30,000 as of, let's call it Jan 1. So today's 38,000 mark still puts that nicely in the money, about 30%. So you're still in the money here on Bitcoin. I do think this is a horrible drop down. And, you know, China fueled a lot of this on the way upside. So, yeah, they're going to fuel it on the way down. And if you're putting restrictions on buying, selling, you know, how you report, things like that. And again, we'll have to read some articles to find out exactly what this is with China. But yeah, it's going to cause these markets into a tizzy. And then not only that, you do have, and that's a word from Neil yesterday. I'm surprised not many people know that.
It is a normal word, man.
Yeah,
tizzy?
It's like, it just means like you're all like frustrated, like you don't know what's going on, like you're confused basically. And the NQ, what we're getting at here, forget about dizzy. What I'm getting at is it's an overall asset sell. You see gold down today. You see platinum, silver, copper. You know, commodities, oil, all down today as well. So it's a freak out in asset classes today. And yeah, well, I don't know what the 10-year's at, but equities right now not going well. I'm looking at AMC today. There's a whole bunch of names we put out. The sticky note, there's some names on there as well. There's earning names. We have JD. The sticky note's out already, so you can go check that out. And we also put up that poll. So let's go. It's going to be a good show.
Yeah, going to be a busy show. I just checked, Sean, it's about 11% it looks like for the S&P on the year so far, so still in positive territory. To answer everyone's other question, 1.625. Can we show that quick? There it is, 1.625. To start things off. So if you remember last week, we were down around 1.55. So it has definitely started to creep back to the upside. We're getting ahead of ourselves here. Let's take a second, get over to the desk and say good morning to Miss B.
Hey guys, I wish you a positive day, sending you all the luck, and please make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel right now. Let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's get it started indeed. I want to take a second here real quick. We have Mark Roberts standing by from Sun Lake Strategies. Going to be good to get his take this morning. But on this note, on this crypto note, I want to show you a chart here of, Coinbase. Just made a fresh low on the session here. They priced that offering that we were talking about in the pre-market yesterday, guys. So all-time lows here for coin today.
Yeah. I mean,
not surprising.
Yeah, let's just call it what it is. I mean, Coinbase again, and let's just look at basically at any recent IPO. I mean, obviously Coinbase does get the love from the crypto universe, and yeah, wow, okay, down 7% today. Obviously a little bit more than we had expected, and I expected anyways by my reaction, but I did look at it, and I just marked down that you got to watch BTC and ETH. If they start to bounce, Ethereum, then I think that Coinbase probably starts to go, but it's been a nasty ride down. Yeah, we'll get Mark Roberts' take on this one. But again, until you find bottoms here, the reference price was 250. They came out, I can't believe they needed more cash to start offering share again, which is kind of obviously a negative and a surprise. So I don't think there's a bottom. I will not be looking for bottoms. If anything, let's wait to see if it breaks this 226 here in the pre-market. We're not that far off, guys. I don't think this will be down 6% at the end of the day, but I feel like this blowout in crypto today is going to be temporary. Call it, I am a bull. There's no doubt about that. But I think there's going to be a little bit of a rebound. We don't expect Ethereum down 25% in one day. But let's see if some of the big wigs come in. You know, like that's the point. When it's at 60,000, 65,000, Chamath, all these guys come out, tout, tout, tout. It's like it's sports gambling or something. Like we win, and then are they dumping it or are they buying more?
It rhymes with what you said. You said tout, tout, tout. Out is my guess.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my take there on Coinbase, and I just think that I think it's a buy at some levels, but we don't know. This is recent IPO struggles, man. Like we saw DoorDash go down to lows, now bouncing back off of a good report. Like what's Airbnb at right now? They had negative. They priced again as well. Let's see a daily chart on Airbnb. Look at Airbnb here. Like again, up to 220, you know, and right back down. It's below now IPO price, right? So IPO price 145, Airbnb today going to be at 131, 132. I don't have to tell you guys about Bumble, if you want to look at that name as well. Different. This came out at what, 70, I believe, once the chart loads up.
Ugly one, man.
Yeah, 72 down to 40, cut in half. Bumble, guys. So again, you know, no.
And that's a possibly solid company. I mean, all of this said, I just threw this in the chat. All of this said. On a day trade, if I see 200 at some point on Coinbase this week, today, this week, next week, that's the type of day trade I'm probably going to take, not with my eyes closed, but almost every single time. And 250 was the same way. You start getting those obvious round numbers, and it's hard to avoid them. And maybe 205 in front of 200 if it ever gets there. But as far as picking a bottom today, that's a much taller order.
Definitely not the ideal environment to come to market. Squarespace deciding today is the day for them to have their direct listing. We'll talk about Squarespace coming up here. Mark Roberts, president of Sun Lake Strategies, as promised, on a Wednesday. Good morning, Mark. This is going to be interesting. I think we need to kind of, you know, give some context here. As we said, you know, both the ES and the S&P, I should say, and the NASDAQ higher still on the year. Yes, we've come off the highs. I mean, but there's still a long way to go.
Yeah, I still believe we got more to go on the downside. Right now, you're at 40.78 on the futures. I was looking for that 40.70, 40.75 area for the first hold. I'm beginning to think that if technology still gets this draft down, we've got somewhere between 4,000 and 4,025. So I'm going with the latter. Everything never seems to stop either on the way up or the way down. We'll call it a rubber band effect. So I'm going to say the stretch takes you closer to 4,000.
Okay, so we got some more positive data both in the U.S. yesterday and in the EU as far as COVID is concerned. So numbers still kind of trending in the right direction here. The EU government coming out saying they're going to reopen borders once again for travelers who are fully vaccinated to freely travel back and forth. So there is an underlying, you know, kind of move in the right direction or positive sentiment there. How much of this negativity or, I guess, fear-based trade from the crypto markets is kind of spilling over into equities?
I would say I listened to a number of strategists this morning when I got up. Half say it's highly correlated, half say it's not correlated at all. I think it's a simple question of we've created another asset class with a different generation of traders. So let's leave it as it's another asset class. I'm not sure it's taking money away from gold like it did in the beginning. Gold is also another asset class. I stay long, very long gold. That's my preference. Crypto, I play through stocks, so I'm looking for lower levels. And as you just discussed, Coinbase closer to 200.
All right, let's find some opportunities then in this environment where things, you know, are very questionable, especially on the growth side of things. Where do people look? Where do people go? You know, when we still don't really see any kind of positive sentiment coming back into the market yet.
Well, actually, there has been very positive sentiment. If you look at the old technology names, they've held up incredibly well. Cisco hardly down at all from its highs. IBM hardly down at all from its highs. It's replaced the Amazons, the Facebooks, the Googles for the time being. I think there's a place in the portfolio for both. So I'm waiting for the old tech to slip some to add to those. I've not been in them in a while. The new tech, as I've mentioned on this show, I lightened up over the last many weeks, and I continue to lighten up on rallies.
We saw a little bit of attention going back towards the EV makers yesterday with more incentives, I guess I should say, from President Biden coming with his announcement in Michigan, more money towards that sector. Tesla 32% off its highs as of the close yesterday. Is there something in this group that we can kind of look towards? I know you've spoken in the past about some of the North American or US-based manufacturers looking like they might be the place to go.
Yeah, I mean, Ford and GM certainly are a place to go. Volvo, potentially, Volkswagen, definitely. If you can play the registered shares or the ADRs actually in the US. But for the time being, there just aren't enough charging stations. So while people have leaned toward the EVs, especially now that gas is trading at the pump $3 here and $7 on the coast, more people are thinking of going EV, but you're still not getting enough of the population believing that this is a long-term plan. So I stay on the sidelines. I'm not investing in them at all. I have invested in Tesla through the ARK shares periodically, but for the moment, this is a plan that's not easily conceived in the short term, so I stay neutral.
Yeah, interesting there, Mark. I have to ask you this question, and just because, look, Target, and I don't think anyone's surprised that Target had fantastic numbers across the board with the other retailers here. And as I think you pointed out, one of the better looking charts, and certainly better looking than Walmart, we'll say. And then you reminded me of that a couple of times in the past, and I love that you do that. In this particular environment, still pushing towards and trying to make on that little gap here, trying to make a fresh high, which it did not before a little bit of a pullback. Got very, very close. Now, I saw a statistic, and again, maybe these things matter or not, but historically, when it gets to past like 1 or now 1.1 times forward sales, that they tend to have sharp pullbacks in Target. Do you ever care about things like that when they go back? Stats that go back like 5-10 years for those types of trends, like would that give you a reason, especially at a high, to say, okay, well, if I like Target, this almost has to be a sell? And I only bring that up because with the market pulling back in here and failing to make that high, as a day trader, it's hard not to think about this is earnings that risk to reward. Selling it probably makes a little bit more sense given where we're at those highs, and then people might be looking to take some profit. So what are your thoughts on Target in particular? Because it's been so impressive, and is that going to matter today? It's up 2%, not a heck of a lot is up. Is this going to matter?
I don't think so. I think the verdict may still be out over the next 1, 2, or 3 weeks, whether or not this can maintain the highs. But I looked at something like CVS yesterday. Interesting transition within the company. They're on all cylinders. This is like the Target of the drugstore, if you will. So yes, there's plenty of space for these stocks to pull back, but they're pulling back from historically very high levels. And I think as the economy starts to ramp up, the targets are just going to get stronger, as the Walmarts will, and I stay along Walmart. But the CVSs and the like, they're not coming down very much.
Okay, I mean the juxtaposition here is CVS, of course, having broken through the high, and I think, and obviously, Target remains to be seen. Maybe it does have a shot to get back to some of those sort of higher levels that we're talking about. Now, you mentioned, you mentioned very briefly Coinbase. There is there another, and then you said you're primarily trading, looking at crypto through equities. Is there one in particular that you might have an eye on today? Just because, obviously, with the nature of the move that we've had, we've talked about like whether it's Silvergate, people talk about Riot and Mara. Is there something that you have an eye on, maybe in this little short term after we've seen such a big flush?
Actually, there is. I'm long OSTK Overstock. It has a crypto portion. It has a retail portion, and I put some money into Overstock over the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm staying long that as my crypto retail play.
And just out of curiosity, and we've talked about this before, and you said, you know, whether it's at 5 or 10% allocation into the crypto space. Now, just as a suggestion, I mean, obviously you're saying you're playing it in the equity market. I try to tell people if you say 10%, that should try to have some kind of a calculation for both whatever you hold in actual cryptocurrency and whatever equities might be, which can be tricky in terms of deciding, okay, well, I have some Square and I've got some Coinbase, you know, what percentage of those should I consider my allocation? Maybe all of it for Coinbase, but it isn't for Square. How do you approach that with something like Overstock? You're not holding, you know what I mean? Like, see what I'm getting at there?
Yeah. So I'm long PayPal. I'm long a little bit of Square. I'm long MasterCard and Visa. I try to play it and also American Express for that matter. I try and play it where there's a little bit of crypto, there's a little bit of fintech because that's not going away, and then there's a little bit of retail, and also you have American Express as a reopening play, travel and so on and so forth with MasterCard and Visa. I try to look for a broadening of the trend, if you will, not just a pure crypto, pure retail, or pure reopening.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I love to get your insights here and put you on the spot right there. And like what I noticed there, Mr. Stockfather, is you know, the memory. Like, it's a shut the eyes, boom. I can ring off every single one of those names in the space that you hold. Probably not even looking at that spreadsheet that I know you keep. So you continue to impress me there, Mark, as always. Before I get you out of here, is there? And then we talk crypto, and we talk a little bit. And Brendan covered almost every topic. Was there a name or two that, in the midst of today, down 1%? Are you thinking about something that is on your buy radar that you haven't already said?
Yeah, so as I mentioned last time I was on, the consumer staple stocks, XLP, as in Peter. Procter is the largest position within that ETF. I'm starting to look, I'm long a little bit of McCormick Spices, MKC, but I'm looking at the consumer staple names, global branding, and they can raise prices. That's key to this equation. Whether inflation is transitory or not, it's here for good, and I think that's the way to play it. Also, the Walmarts have helped, the Krogers and the Albertsons, KR and ACI. I'm looking for places that can raise prices and have a global branding.
Love it, Mark. So a place to hide that money or get it in on the day the market is down. Thank you so much. As always, Stockfather, it's been an absolute pleasure. Best of luck with all of your trading today. It should be an interesting day.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, quick time. Let's have a look at upgrades and downgrades, retail names on this side of the board. Home Depot we talked about this week. There's Macy's on the list today. It's been very strong so far this week versus the overall market. Macy's, that is. Walmart here as well. Salesforce, nothing terribly exciting over here. We mentioned Baidu yesterday. To the downside today, guys, UBS with a price target cut on Baidu.
I'm probably going to be distracted for most of the show. What the hell? Now, guys, ETH down to 2K right now. It was just,
Sweet
this is
Christmas.
one, okay, you have to understand what the hell's happening here in crypto market. This is 1 minute. It just dropped 10%.
What the hell?
It dropped from 2,200 right there.
Doge is at 20, what?
Yeah, 2,200. I just bought just a couple minutes ago at 2,500, so yay me. 2,500 down there. I'm done buying now. My cost base is so low on this, it's ridiculous. But down to 2,000 now, so I'm not putting any serious money. Look, there it goes, and then there it is. Like, this is nuts. Like, and then that closes the next candle. I mean, I don't know how else to show you guys this, but like that candle just went down 10% and right back. I mean, there's no surprise here because this is the crypto markets, and I'm not saying like, oh my God, I can't believe this is actually happening. I can very, very much believe this. But wow, big move to the downside. Congratulations, anybody that was able to get out. Cardano's getting wrecked. Dogecoin's down to like
22.
what, 22 cents?
22 cents right now.
Ridiculous. Here's BTC right now as well. Greg talking about this. 38,000 just cracked not even that long ago. I mean, it cracked here, made it back, cracked about 8:37. What time is it now? 8:55. So that's in 20 minutes. You go down to 33. So that's, again, another 10%. But to me, the story is with Ethereum. And if you're not in Cardano before, look, I don't want to tell anybody to go ahead and buy anything, but this is a one-day chart here for Cardano. So giving back absolutely everything it's done, and it's right back down to $1 right now, $1.10, $1.12. Like, yeah, I mean, I would rather, we talk about the 3-day move here, I would rather sit on the sidelines and sort of just like, you know, start throwing up a little bit here. But again, you know, you have to keep things into perspective. I think that's the most important thing when we're talking about stock. Mark did a good point there with gold and things like that. We've been talking a little bit about gold, but I mean, if you bought Cardano in February, you're long 50 cents. If you bought with us back when we were talking about it, forget about the prices, you're long. So this is a monster move down. This is just one name. You can look at, Neil, you just talked about Dogecoin there.
I just happen to have Doge up at the time that you mentioned it. But yeah, I'm sure you could pull up just about anything. I just happen to have Doge on Binance here when I checked out. One point I would make is I just quickly checked over to Silvergate, because that's what you do in a situation like this. Done basically no volume pre-market. It's down 7%. It's at 20,000 shares and is still actually holding the 90 level. So, I mean, it kind of goes to show that to the extent that you do, and Mark was making this point, to the extent that you go into some of the equity plays, like it does give you sometimes a little bit of cover in moves like this. That doesn't necessarily extend to like your Riots and Mars, which are more like almost close to one-to-one type of proxies there. But yeah, obviously, yeah, good thing. Well, I didn't wear the brown pants today, but maybe it would have been a good idea.
All right, guys, let's jump into what's moving around in the pre-market here. We'll bring out the watch list. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you pick up the absolutely free watch list. If you need help or a link for that, Miss V will help you out in the chat. Hard to avoid. We just saw one of these there from Neil. Hard to avoid these crypto stocks today. They're going to be under pressure. They are under pressure here in the pre-market. What do we do here? I mean, we just talked to Mark. He said, you know, he's invested in crypto markets through equities. So if you're one of those people who come in today with one or maybe multiple, you know, of these symbols under your arm, holding along, what do we do here, guys, for crypto stocks today?
I mean, the first thing I did is I just checked to see what kind of volume was happening in the one that I happen to hold, which is Silvergate. But and there really wasn't any. So I mean, if you get a big enough of a bounce, I mean, I don't even know what that would qualify as. Like you talk to like 24 on Ethereum, on Bitcoin, back above 35, let's call it. Then it's really nothing to do about it. But if you're in like a Riot, on the other hand, which, yeah, I mean, this has done 1.5 million shares. I mean, down 15%, a more significant drop off here. Now, you should always go into a trade with some kind of an idea of where your outs are going to be. I mean, are you panic selling at 2150 when that move has already happened and is trying to bounce and recover? I don't know if that's usually going to be the right approach here. Before, when I started talking, you guys know exactly where these things. When I started talking the show, where Ethereum was bouncing to and where it had moved to, I was already thinking, okay, there's still room to the downside on this little pop. I may go into like, you know, like short a little SOS, something like that. And then that move happened, which kind of switched the game up for me, because I was kind of thinking, okay, if it's going to be in this range, you got yesterday's close, you know, in front of like 340 or so, you can shorten the 20s and just, you know, ride it into the high kind of idea. But if we've already made a big time flush, and this has come down to 3 and really hasn't gone too far past it, hasn't even done 1 million shares worth of volume, I start to sort of second guess that, because that was a much bigger and more extended move to the downside than I had anticipated. I mean, it happened pretty quickly as well before the open. So I kind of have to throw those plans out the window, because now if SOS were to make some kind of a push into like 330, that's a much different landscape than when it hadn't broken the low and we didn't have a bit of a wipeout. When you have those wipeouts, it does make shorting anywhere near the bottom a heck of a lot trickier, and I know that kind of goes without saying.
I mean, I always look at, I have the ARK ETF here, but I think you can look at this name. I'll just call it the BTCC one. We always talk about this. This is in Toronto. This is the purpose. There it is. It's the $7. Yikes. I'll be buying more today, I guess. The thing is, I hold the physical coin, but I was just going to say that if you don't, like BTCC.B, and you want to get into a registered account, I think this is the way to play it. I would always rather play the coin than the stock. But again, you know, there have to be long-term holds at this point and every point moving forward, I guess, as actually, okay, you know, now we're bouncing a little bit. I just picked up some more Cardano at that bottom. We'll see. But there it is. Here's now Ethereum. You could see that move. Holy wow. It touched 1850, guys. And then that only happened 2 minutes ago, and now you're at 2,300. So that is like 20% bounce there off the bottom. Is my math right? Yeah, close to that. Yeah, 180. Yeah, $400. Yeah, more than that. 20% bounce off that bottom there, straight back to the upside. That was a capitulation blowout there. Bitcoin went to 33,000. That went down there. Cardano went to $1.07 when we were just talking about that. Remember that price, guys, $1.07. I just took the long at $1.11. I missed the very bottom, but we'll wait to see where this goes. ADA bouncing a little bit as well. This is a daily chart. We'll check a minute chart here. I just think if you like the names, you get into them, but I can't. Yeah, this touched 95. Okay. Anyways, the point is that if you like the names, I think we're in a hold and wait now spot for some of these crypto spots. So I would just continue to dip in, but dip in lightly here. We could retest some of those bottoms. Remember, Bitcoin was 30,000 January 1st. So for it to be at 33 right now, still nice move, still 10% in the money, but hey, people are going to start cashing out at some point, and I think we just saw it.
And remember, Sean, we were sitting here last week and we mentioned, do we see 30,000 again on Bitcoin? And thought that was crazy, but here we are. Not 30, but yeah, 32 at the bottom there. Let's bring Arun in. We'll check out the overall market. Some important levels coming into play so far in the pre-market here for the S&P. Arun, what do we need to be aware of here? I think, you know, there's key support that could come into play today.
There are some support levels. Keep in mind, first off, let's just mention off the top that at 2 p.m. Eastern, you have Fed minutes, right? With inflation being the hot topic nowadays with what's happening with the retail sales numbers and CPI numbers, I think you have to pay attention, or people will be paying attention to any word changes or any possible dissent in the Fed when it comes to the last meeting, right? If anything, anything has changed from the previous meeting to the last meeting, or 2 previous meetings ago to the last meeting, then I think you're going to see the market react violently to that move, or to whatever comes in that text. So that's at 2 p.m. Just be aware that's a headline risk. Now, the market is accelerating quite fast to the downside. When I sat down, it was sitting at about 85, and here we are at 69. You know, when a market moves like this, it's very hard to step in because there really aren't a whole lot of levels that you can work with to get short because of how it's moving. There are 2 levels that I can potentially find some longs, but again, you got to be really careful that it actually sets up. 40.50 is the first one. 40.30 is the second one. If we break, I think 40.30, that's the key one for me here. If we break 40.30, that's a low going back to last week, the 13th. If we break that, you have to consider the possibility, everyone that's been doing the buy the dip and buying in value, and you get these straight moves up for the 14th, the 13th and the 14th, we went straight up for the most part. If that breaks, you have to consider the possibility, what are those people going to do again? Are they going to do buy the dip again? Or are they just going to freak out? So if you get the freak out side of things, this could turn very ugly very quickly. Again, this market is in an up market. It has been fairly strong, relatively speaking. We are 200 points now away, 150 or so points away from the all-time highs. But you do have to consider the possibility that people may hit the exit door at the same time, and this thing could just fall apart. Until that happens, though, just be aware of the possibility of that happening. But until that happens, you have to potentially find some longs. I think there's 2 levels to work with, 40.50, 40.30. If you can find something around those, you can take a shot. But I think if you lose a 40.30, you do have to be aware that the downside is wide open and things can get going really quickly to the downside. If that happens, again, it's a big if. If the buyers come in and see value in this thing could shoot right back up and we could be where we were midday yesterday very quickly. So in a market like this, just be careful, just understand that moves happen very quickly and you do have a headline risk at 2 p.m.
It's important to understand as well, as you mentioned, you know, if we're looking for some sort of a bounce to get short the overall market, Is there a spot that people need to be aware of that we might test here, Arun?
The only level I can potentially see, or the area that I can potentially see, is around 4,100. I would use 4,115 as the stop. If I were to find a proper setup on the short side, again, I would lean on the short side, personally speaking, until we lose 4,115. I think if we lose 4,115, then you have to consider the possibility that we're going back up towards 4,150. But if we hesitate around 4,100, I'm 100% open to taking a shot at the short side and see if we can get near that 40.50 or even that 40.30 to get some downside action. But that's the only level I've got. Again, the levels are so far apart. I've got 4,115, and then the level after that I've got is 4,185 to the upside. So there's a lot of space in between. In a market like this, especially the way it's been moving it's been a weird move because there's a lot of movement, but it's not tradable movement, if that makes any sense, because just movement alone doesn't mean that you can actually capture the moves. It does have to have setups and levels and risk adjustment or risk profiles and things like that to your trade. If all those set up, then you take a shot. But for the way I'm seeing it, it's very hard to actually step into the market and take a shot when the way it's moving doesn't allow for those types of entries. So for now, I'm going to keep an eye on that 4,100 area, anywhere around 4,100. So 4,190 going, or 4,090 going up to 4,100, all the way up to 4,115. I'm open to taking a shot at the short side if we set up. Again, we do have to set up on the short side, because if you get buyers coming in, they see value and they want to run this thing right back up, it's going to go very quickly, very aggressively. So you don't want to be caught on that side, on the wrong side when that happens. So just be aware, 4,115 to the upside, we got 40.50 to the downside. And of course, if you lose 40.30, I think we could be in trouble, at least for the short term, to the downside quite aggressively too.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Let's get into a few other names that we need to cover here before we get to the open. 25 minutes to go. Target Corporation, I just checked, still holding a 2% gain on the morning after earnings were better than expected, benefiting as well from online sales during the pandemic, guys. Target, one of the only ones standing out here in positive territory.
It's giving back too, though. From the time that from the time we started the show, when it was immediately, and when we were talking to Mark about maybe this one coming off, and thinking it was a day trade to the short side. 212 broke, and then maybe I'll zoom in so you can see this better. That's kind of horrible. 212 broke, and we're down, holding like a 210 level, so down a couple more dollars here from a 217 high. And we had looked at that daily chart. It touched. Let's be like the 15-minute. It had touched like 217.50. If you go back to the if you go back to the 10th here, like 217.50 before a sharp pullback all the way to 200. Then you bump back up in earnings. You touch that high again. It's hard not to look at the market coming to the downside and the reaction to some of the retail earnings that we've seen, or just in general blowout earnings off those highs. And if you don't break that high, Mark rightly mentioned CVS making that breakout. Target hasn't still done it. I kind of have to play the fade. The other level I looked at was this 214 that you come into a couple from yesterday's action, and say to yourself, okay, well, if it's going to make any kind of a pop, let's forget about 217 because we're $7 away, and then fade into that 214. Now, does it go negative on the session? And there we're talking another like $4 from here. Possibly not, but if I can play something in the 212 to 214 range, I'll be all over that in terms of shorting into a pop here. I think that gives you some cover, at least in case we get one of those, and we've seen it before here, Sean, like those the days where everything is doom and gloom, and that's the entire feeling that you have, right? It's just everything is down. Oh, it's going to be a watershed day, and then it's a sharp reversal at 9:30. I think if you're taking shorts, you want to make sure you're factoring that in, that you could get that little wipeout, and that's the worst place to be in a position on the short side. So I'd much rather have prices where I know exactly what my out is going to be. I'm not tempted to average in. I'm not tempted to ignore that price stop or roll into more shares. That would be it for me. Like if I get like 212, 212 half, like 213, something in that price range, and a pop going into the open, and then you just set a 214 stop and forget it on target. That would be the approach I would have today. If the market turns green, I think there'll be, when you get the wipeout bottoms, finding longs on a momentum basis in the first 15 minutes isn't usually that tricky. I'd much rather navigate some of the shorts. And I did think target might be a sell, despite obviously fantastic report by them.
All right, yeah, so we already wrote down this, and it just happened too early. I already put it in the chat there. Same as yesterday with Home Depot there. 212 short sell, no matter what. Nothing matters. I already wrote that down. I said that yesterday with Home Depot. Nothing matters, and we saw Home Depot get cracked yesterday and just continue to go to the downside. So 212 was the level that I liked here on target. And now I just like 210. Like anything, basically, any of these lows I think are going to get broken here, and we'll just wait to see on the downside. The NASDAQ has way more to go today. Obviously, if it rebounds, that's fantastic. We do like that, but I think you have to be looking on the short side right now. As crypto, ETH, Bitcoin is done. Bitcoin, everything's done right now. Cardano's going to go sub $1.
We're back below 2,000.
Yeah. ETH is going to go below 2,000 right now. Bitcoin is, unfortunately, guys. Yeah, you're right, Greg.
That's about right.
It's about that time. Bitcoin right now, 30,000 on the nose right here, guys. It just bounced off there, but I don't believe it bounces a second time. So here we go. Let's wait to see what happens right now in the crypto space. You are giving everything back. And again, this just goes back to, and we talked about the S&P up 11%. That's fantastic year to date. I had no idea it was that high. NASDAQ obviously is not going to be that high, but here we go, guys. This is the move that's happening right in front of our faces. 50,000, like there's only so many times you're going to be able to see moves like this from 50,000 down to 30,000 in a matter of 4 days, and you're touching that Jan low. Once you break this, guys, honestly, like I'm not going to say 20,000 today, but
if you've sat out the 20,000 break until this point, well, congratulations to you, unless you didn't sell anything, because you might get a chance here. I mean, it's predicting bottoms is like, I don't think there's almost a point in doing it here. That being said, I did mention that if Coinbase got to 200, I'd be looking to buy off the bottom there. It looks like we could be putting our money where our mouth is if this is going to continue off the open. The fact it's at 216 in a flush like that is surprising, probably only because the market hasn't opened yet.
Yeah, it's impeccable timing there by Greg on that sound effect, by the way. Yeah, important levels definitely for Bitcoin here. Let's move on to big tech stocks. We saw them all under pressure yesterday, and it's the FANG group I'm talking about. Once again, accelerating, guys, here for any one of these. Do we avoid altogether, or is there opportunity here?
Depends on your time frame. I mean, there's an opportunity always depending on your time frame here. Now, I don't necessarily have a day trade for many of these names here, so that's going to be the one caveat. But you sort of look at, if it's a load up, there we go. You sort of look at a Facebook here, and I'm going to stick out that 300 number just because it's close enough to. I know this won't load any further. That's kind of a pain in the butt. Anyways, you don't need to see any historical levels. We did break 300 a couple of times on the daily here, getting down to as low as like a 295. So if you're thinking about like wipeout bottoms and levels to defend, that does give you two there. I'm going to quickly switch back from a 60 to a 15 minute. Just for some of the charts I was looking at this morning, I wanted to have a higher time frame. And if you switch back to that like 15-minute look, you start to say to yourself, okay, well, what does that 300 look like? A couple of wipeouts down into like a 298 double bottom. So if things get crazy and you have one of those opening market flushes that quickly reverses, I mean, something like a Facebook in and around 99 to 300 with maybe $1 stop, depending on where you get it, I think that 298 does stick out. That would be the first approach I would have if you're going to have to day trade some of these names. Although there's not going to be a lack of movement this morning, and I kind of feel like some of the crypto names and some of the retailers, probably the first place I'd put that money to work at 9:30, not necessarily your Apples and your Facebooks.
I see the talk here, Bitcoin down 29%. I just put a tweet out as well. If you want, you could follow me, of course, but where is it here? Yeah, Binance, they just withdrew. They temporarily disabled withdrawals on ETH and ERC20 coins. So not BTC, but most coins, if you're just involved now, most coins are ERC20 coins. So just the way they're classified there. So Binance right now suspending it. They're the largest exchange in the world. So Binance right there, that may cause pause.
Shocker. And
may give ETH an ability to go back to the upside. So just like Robinhood did to a lot of us, not me because I'm not on Robinhood, but suspending trading in GameStop and AMC and those kind of names. When that happened, you see they're doing it now in the crypto world. So not good news. We're talking about big cap. So let's go to AMC. I wrote down again on the sticky note here, sorry, AMD, 73 to the downside and or 72, right in the middle, 72.50. The reason why we like 72.50 is on the daily chart, if this will ever load up. Shoot. Okay, hold on a second. There's obviously a bad wick, so I can't show it to you on this chart. Let's just go over here. This is 72.50 right here. We hit the bottom there a couple days ago, 72.50, and we're approaching it right now again here on AMD. So I like AMD down through 72.50. We still have 15 minutes before the market opens, so we'll see if there's a bounce coming. But right now, I like that name, and then hopefully the charts won't freeze up for us on Softy. So we'll move this away, and then, oh man, Neil, this is going to be a rough time today because
I have a few of those too.
Yeah, there's a few of these today. That's an AMD one. Softy comes down to here. So yeah, anyways, Microsoft back into this area, 235 today. I wrote down that we're going to look to go longs. 238.50 is going to be pretty key level. That's held here, held the last couple days before bouncing back to 250 almost. So good rebound on Friday. And now today we're right back down to 238 and change. So watch out for 238.50 on Softy and 72.50 on AMD.
All right, just saw a note suggesting a lot of people having connection issues trying to log into Coinbase as well, guys. So, yeah.
It was working a little bit earlier this when we came on, but obviously some issues right now. So I think it's different for everybody.
All right, let's move on to Lowe's, another one with earnings. The earnings were good right across the board, top and bottom lines beat. It was the same store sales increase, lower than Home Depot. So down on seemingly that, it would appear, guys, for Lowe's.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you want.
Yeah, I can take it. Yeah, Lowe's. So Lowe's today again. I feel very, very similar to Lowe's as I did to Home Depot yesterday. I think we just got to smash the pre-market bottoms wherever those happen to be. They're changing.
Oh, it's a great number.
They're changing on the minute here. So 187.50. Yeah, like Neil was just saying. Yesterday, Home Depot, we saw the same kind of report. Home Depot had same store sales of 31%. Lowe's only has 25 or 28%, something like that. But look at Home Depot. Yesterday, we wrote down 326 as a level that we wanted to hit in the pre-market. That was right here, and you see that it never came back. It tried to come back here. It went to 324, 325, but that 326 was never again seen all the way to the downside, and now today you're at 312. So I just think Lowe's, look, great quarters, great name, great space. Everything is fine with it. Let's just wait to see. It doesn't look as great. Like yesterday, Home Depot had more movement in the pre-market, but I think you just got to smash anything. And before I go to Neil, let me just call up the imbalance locator because we haven't done that yet. AT&T still, what is it? 28.50. Okay, even lower. AMC. So I don't see Lowe's on here. There's your SOS. Everything else, yeah. So nothing on here right now. Ford continues to march. Yeah, nice job, Ford. $12 today. It's down, but still holding up. Not bad. Only 0.7. Other than that, man, Lowe's, I think you got to smash those bottoms.
Yeah, I mean, it's not funny, but I jokingly was like, it's a good number because on the daily chart you go back and when it ramped to like a 190, pull back into essentially 187, but that pre-market low on a dime is 187 that I have from a much earlier print. But you look at that 50 as well that Sean had mentioned, so it's not hard to imagine what you want to do, especially in a tight range like this. Because you can always just sort of give, you look at this like 188.40 or something like that can be your stop on the way back out. If you are afraid of getting caught in one of those wipeout bottoms, shorting the absolute low, and then the market might come back. If you're afraid of that, I like the entry into Lowe's because it gives you some cover, Brennan.
All right, JD.com, the next one, another earnings name, Chinese e-commerce platform. They were talking about a lot of, not high-end retailers, but well-known retailers coming in this quarter and setting up online shops on their platform. So that was a benefit to them. Q1 revenue up 39% for JD.
And this is going to be a little bit of a broken record, although it's not quite the same thing. And I should zoom out. There you go. So you can get a better look at where this is coming from. This is essentially, I mean, JD did have a breakout back around these prices. Technically like 69 would have been that high in July, and then it had the breakout going into August from that price. We're close enough to that where 69 is going to be an interesting price for me here, and obviously 71. We're down 2.5%. I mean, the money's been reluctant to come back into some of these Chinese names, despite whatever the numbers might actually be. I think you're in trouble if you break this 67 because clearly the bottom of this cluster is like a 60 level. So there's some room to the downside here as well. I mean, it's not to sit here and say everything is doom and gloom. If we come into that, and I come back to 69 just because I showed you on the daily chart, if we come back into that 69 area, I think that's not a bad area to start a short position into that 70. Maybe you get like a 69.5 is a bit of a price target there for you guys. The only issue is it's only 500,000 worth of volume. I don't think that's a tremendous amount here. And a lot of stocks I'm watching, it's almost like money's waiting around until that open to see what happens. And sometimes that's the reason. If you get that sell-off and we're down that 1% and things are sitting on those lows, but they're not exactly trading on a ton of volume, if they're not crypto-related in general, that's where sometimes you can get that snapback and you don't want to be caught with a short right at the absolute low of the day. I do have one position left on. I got stopped out for a 2-cent hit there on LPTH. Actually expecting 3, so not as much slippage as I would have anticipated. But I still have that penny stock. And yesterday I tried ONTX on the afternoon show with the close when it broke $1. I ended up with $1 short and got out at 104 when it broke the high of the day. Today I said if it gapped down below $1, I was going to be short. That's true. It tried to break 97s. Once it couldn't twice, I was in at 96. I missed a re-entry, but this just flushed down into 90 cents. I mean, that trade has... I don't think it's come and gone. I'm probably going to be shorting any pop that it makes into the open off of that 97 level and maybe even $1. So ONTX, good volume, 3.5. The only things it felt safe to be in comfortably were some of the smaller caps, which probably aren't going to care as much when we're getting this turmoil in the market, in the crypto space. So that's where I gravitated to. I'll be likely trading some more ONTX and as well that LPTH later on in the session or even at the open.
All right, guys, we'll move on to Coinbase here. The next one we mentioned off the bat here, Coin pricing their offering that we talked about yesterday. So down yesterday on that. We get the pricing on it. Again, it doesn't, there's senior notes coming due in 2026. So it's a pretty far out date for that. They also talked about setting up their own media outlet. So some of the rivals, apparently, the Block, CoinDesk, and Blockworks already have their own media outlets. So Coinbase discussing that opportunity as well.
I mean, look, Coinbase, no matter what opportunities they're discussing, they better start discussing some, price discovery here because, Coinbase, they're obviously, we talked about it, or you guys talked about it, they're having some kind of problems on the connectivity side, I guess. I don't know if any of you guys are experiencing any of that, but apparently something there. So we'll wait to see if Coinbase can get back up and running. But yeah, look, more ideas. We like Coinbase. I think that's something that we've discussed here. I like the space. I like the name. But Mark said something about ARK and investing through ARK as well. Some Cathie Wood holdings. That's getting wood shedded, that's for sure. But I like Coinbase. I can't even look at, there's no charts. I mean, I can't look at a daily chart because it just looks like this. So that's nice. Nothing to look at there, nothing to see here. I don't know. I mean, I think we just have to keep looking at BTC, looking at some of these moves here that are happening on these various exchanges and just wait to see if and when there's a bottom there. But the thing about it is, remember something, as there's more selling and more volume, this is the thing that I'm unable to sort of wrap my head around with Coinbase, which is why I put no more money in it in the last couple of weeks. Basically, I put some in, I think 320, and then get at 290. I told you my average price. I still have to find that out for you. It's probably 310 something. Wow, Cardano with a nice bunk back. Okay, that's good. The point is that I don't know. I don't know what to do with Coinbase. I like the space. I like the names. I like everything they're doing. And what I'm getting at is the more action there is in the space for cryptocurrency, the more transactions there are. NASDAQ doesn't care when the market falls down because the NASDAQ, the company, makes money on trades. So when AMC's doing 300 million, AMC's a New York name, but so let's talk about the New York Stock Exchange then. When that's making 200 million trades a day, or Tesla's doing 100 million shares a day, or whatever, they're raking in, right? It's they're like a poker table where they sit there and they grab the rake. So every single time someone's executing a trade on Coinbase, they are paying that 3.99% if you're using, I think it's a Visa debit card, something like that, and or they're taking spread. Not only are they charging you guys a percentage, but they're also taking spread on the crypto. So anyways, there's a lot of revenue sources for these guys. I like them. I can't say that enough, but like, it's not worth putting money in. I'd rather put money in right now into a Square or a PayPal where there are levels that we can work off of. So for right now for Coinbase, I sit on my hands and hey, look, if 214 is the bottom or whatever it's gonna be today, then that's the bottom and I'll have missed it. But I'm gonna wait until Coinbase at least gives me something, some sort of a reason to go long. That's my take on Coinbase.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather add to to that point. I mean, I'm trying to get more of that Silvergate as opposed to coin. All of that said, and I know for those that missed it, I mean, if we get to 200, just on a purely day trade perspective, if we're looking at 200 today at some point, you're likely going to see me throw a bid down on it. That's probably a price that I'd stand in front, as opposed to waiting for it to bounce off. That's probably a price I'd stand in front of and just actually have a bid down there on the off chance. We're down 10%, so it gets pretty unlikely at some point. But if it gets down there, I'd probably be thinking about that. And Sterling, we have not talked about Tesla. I think that 540 level still would be the one that's in play. I mean, just looking across, we just bounced off 45s there, so we might have already made that move in defense.
All right, one little one to talk about. Well, there's a couple, but LPTH moving in the pre-market. Not a lot of volume on that one, but I'll show you this. If you remember yesterday, some of these EV makers, big moves higher, all in negative territory, or most anyways, to the downside today. Yeah, ride ugly so far for lower. It's down 6% to the downside. 1050 over here was a bit of a level throughout the morning on ride. Be prepared for 1080 and 11. I think it's worth mentioning right across the board, guys, if we get a bounce back, that bounce back could be even more violent than this move to the downside.
I totally agree, and I think that's one of the things, it's not to say it over and over again, but if you're taking shorts in a market which is doing this into the open, you have to have a solid concept of what your out is going to be, just if you're shorting any kind of a pop. And in the case of ride, and we look at the afternoon bottom, which is like a 975, like if you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, a 975 short on the way back because I've missed the move and I think this is it coming in, well, maybe you only give it to either the 10 pre-market high or you look at that bounce in the afternoon that got to like a 1015. Those are two reasonable stops, and that's what I would be doing here. And we have a bit of a 10-cent spread, which probably has more to do with 150,000 shares worth of volume, which is why you're seeing such a tight little spread here. But that's what you have to say to yourself. And if you're not willing to do that, I don't think you're shorting into oblivion. Otherwise, you're looking at the prices that Brendan talked about, like that 11. Do you really want to lose that off of the open short? I don't think that makes any sense to me on ride. So I actually like that idea of getting something on a bit of a pop here. That's one of the levels I wanted to have that got broken. I mean, tons of them have already been broken, and ride 975 was one of them. If I can come back in, get 975 to 10 with the stop at that 1015, I have no problems doing that because I know exactly where my out's going to be.
I'm just reviewing some of these trades. Like I'm not in anything right now, but I'm just like reviewing to see where we want to go. And like, I'm nervous now, again, like what else is new, about this market not making that move back up. So, let's wait. Like as a bull, obviously, I don't care. I mean, I'm more bullish than bearish generally, but obviously I just trade price action. Some of my best trades yesterday were on the short side, and I have a feeling they're going to be like that today. And I really like this 72.50 bottom on AMD. It's just I am nervous a little bit. Actually, I said the wrong thing. I'm nervous a little bit that we do get a bounce back, possibly temporary in some of these names, right? And so let's watch out for AMD. It is trying to come back now, making some moves back to the upside now, 73.12, you can see. So it's just like I want to go short here, but I still think that off the open you may get a flush. So I have to be diligent now. I'm not 100% sure if I want to be part of that flush. I'd almost rather pick up the bottoms if it's going to flush, but then I may miss. So anyways, there's lots of talk happening. Palantir's back to 20. There's some talk there as well. I talked about yesterday loving that 20 level on Palantir, and we wrote it down, and we wanted to come back in and have a look at Palantir today off of 20 and even 21. Like 21 was holding yesterday as well. So today you're down that 5%. There's that 21 level. We actually wanted to look at 21, but we didn't have a chance today. So now we'll look at 20. Here's Palantir on a 20-minute chart. So we're all the way back. We just visited. My last buy was 1850. We talked about that on the show. And we may get another opportunity today. So let's watch out for Palantir here, struggling. 1950 is a good bouncing spot for Palantir. That's the only stock I'm going to put low bids on right now.
And I mean, Brent, you were saying one of our members, not a lot of small cap setups. Brendan had mentioned one of these, LPTH. Now, I already got stopped out of this with a tight stop. I mean, I had the short here, 73. You're going to see it break this very, very tight level. Just looking for a bit of a rollover. I got short on right in front of the 8 o'clock move, which was essentially nothing. And I like this one because they essentially got a deal with a JPL. To be involved in Mars missions there and some of their software anyway. So I look at that move in the aftermarket, and then you get this pullback right into like a 265, 266. That's our pre-market floor. So if that breaks, I like to short through that price. If it tests higher, and the reason why I had a tight stop here, I'm looking at that $3 level. So off the open, if it does make a push, I'd want to short any failure at 3. So this is one that I'm willing to get in here on a potential move down. I actually just got right on a pop, so I came to 995. So I'm willing to put that trade on. There wasn't much that I liked before the open, and it's what I outlined. If you have a stop, it's fine. I'm only risking about 20 cents or so. I'm willing to get blown out, lose 20 cents on a ride going into the open. That's fine. If we get a push in LPTH, it's either like 290, 295, or right here breaking 265. I just got 63s to the short side, so this one was some downward momentum. I felt comfortable with LPTH.
All right, I'm gonna try AMC here on a big dump down here. Let's see if it wants to take out 13 off the open. We're getting ready to open up right now. Check on the imbalances. AT&T, CCL, a name that we always look at. There's the big AMC sell, Palantir sell. Let's go, guys. This is going to be a fun one with only 15 seconds left. And I didn't want to tell everybody. Remember, I said ADA where we bought it at. We bought it at about $1.12. It's about $1.40. So there's a quick 30% in your pocket there. I'm not selling, so we'll see. 5, 4, 3. Let's go.
The green is on.
All right, now we wait. We wait to see what this market has in store for us as we watch AMC. I'm going to try to get long if it breaks above 13, but it's only heading to the downside on a big flush for AMC, guys.
Yeah, and just going to quickly throw it out here. We do have that LPTH. It pops into like a 275 area before reversing. 75 was the price I liked before, so if it comes back in, I'm going to try and get some. Well, I mean, forget about it. I just tried to get some more shares and was unable to do so. I'll park my offer there just in case. I talked about that ride, and immediately, not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. When it comes and gives you 995 in front of 10 at a 10.15 stop, if it gives me a 20-cent winner, and I was risking 20 cents, 995 to 10.15, yeah, I'm going to take some out. If it flushes back down into the 950 range, I'll take some more profit on Lordstown. So if you had a plan of action or levels that you liked, I think that's where you can dip in on a morning like this. Otherwise, there is nothing wrong with sitting out the first minute or two if you don't have anything that you see.
Yeah, I'm going to go 73.41 here, 45 or so on this. So we are now short AMD, just trying to use this. I mean, it's probably going to get blown out. As I said, it's okay. This is fine if this happens. It's not a very heavy spot rate for me right now. There it goes. So there it goes. We're out. So that's fine. I wanted to try it. We did take AMC there long 80s or 79s. It's at 96, 97, 98. So here goes AMC. We took double the shares in AMC that we did in AMD. Wow, AMC. Wow, it's going to confuse me today. Out there, we'll wait for some 98s. We're going to go long through 13 there. There it is, another one. So there it goes. A couple little bang bangs there for us as we will hit a home run in one name. And then we go longer again now through 13. So long AMC now. Let's see if it wants to rally back to the top, guys. We have the bottom of 1250.
There you go. And look, if you like those bottom picks, Tesla didn't, like I said, didn't get to that 540, but it bounced off 545. And you want to see here, I'll zoom in so you can see. It bounced downside to like a 547 on a 50 break. It feels like it's trying to come back to the upside and trying to press a little bit here. I do like the idea of a 555 breakout just on the off chance that we can get a quick scalp into those 60s. But there is a ton of, is that an iceberg?
Look at the market.
Yeah, I just saw almost an iceberg order there through that 15, and then do we get it? Yeah, we actually just got the long on the south side of 555. That's a crazy fill. I just got 554.87 when that level broke there. So I mean, that just goes to show the algos are all over the place. The level breaks, throw a bid, and someone was already slamming the offer to the downside. So just got into Tesla as it's trying to break out. If 545 was the bottom instead of 540, it doesn't really matter too much. It's close enough.
You guys want the bangs? Well, guess what's going to be happening right now? Bang on AMC right to the upside. Nice out on 1320 there. So a big trade there on AMC. Hells to the yeah. big one on AMC right there, guys. We smashed lows, but it's not going too low now. We'll wait to see on this one. It wasn't actually, we smashed it, but it wasn't a huge position. So let me reframe that because, again, it happened a little bit quickly. Should have averaged back in 189. That was that move. We don't want to get short on the very, very low. We would have rather hit more shares if that had happened right away. It did tick higher there. So 190, like I can't take too many shares if that's going to be the top, guys. So good thing we got some out there on AMC, crashing back down. Microsoft, we did take that one through 240. So let's see if this wants to go. Well, I was nervous about this NASDAQ move up, but it's happened. So we're gonna park our wagon right now on Softy as far as big cap tech is concerned. So let's wait to see where Softy goes here. AMC retracing back down. I'm gonna dig into a little bit more long down here.
Yeah, that was some seriously weak tape on Tesla. I mean, I immediately got to throw it in the chat as fast as it happened. Couldn't carry the bid upside. I'll quickly take that one out. Lose slightly under like $2 a trade there, which isn't a heck of a lot, but you have to read the market, and that was just weak. You know what tape? I almost said you know what. Anyways, ONTX, just to get this one out of the way, this penny stock is absolutely dying. So if I'm short at 96, I'm not going to take a 10-cent winner on a 96 short. That would be absolutely ridiculous. So we do that. And then the other one I said I was going to be comfortable with was going to be that LPTH. So it does that little break. And then I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. So it comes right back into the prices we liked in front of that 285. So if it breaks 85s, we'll be out. 83 is the actual pre-market lower high that it put in. I have my price at 70, so we're risking about 13 or 14 cents. Thank you, Miss V. Brendo, what's up?
Another one moving, guys. JD.com earnings we talked about in the pre-market here. They sold it initially down to 66.5, but right back up, testing 68.50 for JD.com.
Thank you, Miss V. We do a little bit of a jump there because we get out a little bit there on Softy. Not that much, but we do get out. There is some levels here to watch out for. So on Microsoft, we just took some out at 30, so that's a 30-cent win. Actually got some 32s there, so exactly 30-cent win on that one. We're almost out of our lows trade, guys. I'm going to give this up to 191. We did average in, bang, bang. Like, look how this chart looks. Just the liquidity here, man, in the morning. Wow, really dried up there on lows. So watch out for the spreads. If you are going to be trading with me and using stops, like you got to cross it up a little bit more than what you think here on lows because of the spread. So watch out. Break through 191, then we're wrong. We're wrong already, it looks like. But our average price is not bad, 188. So we'll see if it comes back to the downside. Lows taking off a little bit. I thought I'd have the Home Depot treatment today, but not looking like that. So lows right now, trying to hold this short. AMC, I still got that 1250 area, so I'm waiting for that. If that breaks, we'll be out of the majority, but I do want to hold to see if it does bounce there off 1250. But a great short if you're able to get anywhere short on this. But I like that 13 break for the momentum. It happened. Now let's wait to see if AMC does finally catch a bid here. But right now, slippery slope. Crypto back to 2,500, so we celebrate that.
Yeah, I mean, certainly a bounce there. Lordstown a bounce as well. And I'm going to take some more shares out in front of like this 980 VWAP. I missed a chance. It rolled through 10. So we had that 10-15, which was going to be our, and you go back into the afternoon, and that just happened to be the top for the greater portion of the last hour and a half. That was going to be my out. It rolled over at 10. You know I was trying to get back in. That's me missing it, trying to get on the way down. But you got to scalp some out if that's going to be the case. If it breaks any further, I still like that 955 area to be a bit of an out for me there, guys. And as far as Tesla, sometimes you get shook. I was a halfway crook. Tesla back up to like 557, but it was weak tape. You're not forced into holding anything off of the open, so if you don't love it, you don't have to trade it. I was looking at 187. That was kind of joking about 187 on lows. It goes to 187. I mean, this like 187.10 before bouncing back to the upside. At the top end of the range, every test is exactly 190. I mean, if I liked it short and I wanted to break down at 187. How am I not shorting it right here, right now? That's kind of crazy. So I'm going to step into this one. I can't ignore this one. I kind of like it off that 190 level. It's a bit of a tighter stop because I know 191 is somewhat as a significant level. If we can scalp this, I'll take it for sure.
Guys, remember ADA and the price that Cardano was at when I was telling you I was buying it? We just made 50%. On ADA. It's up to 152. I haven't made it. I'm not out. But there it is, man. We bought it. No, not 50%, 40%. Sorry. We bought it at 112. We got the fill 112. So good fill on Cardano now up to 153. So, hey, man, pick your poison. We like Cardano. I've been talking about that one a lot. So there's a good one. And we go, yes, to some Cardano love. What up, B?
Some of the gold miners just popping up here. Just notice this one. GOLD coming up to recent highs here. 25.50, I guess, was yesterday's high, but Hasn't been up to these levels in a few months, to say the least. So gold getting a little bit of a bid, guys.
Stay recap there. We just did take on Microsoft again. Spin it. I mean, so far so good today. We take Microsoft long. We take it at 240 exactly. Out 240.32. Sorry. Out right ahead of 50. Then out again ahead of 75. So bang, bang, bang. Each of these a quarter worth. So 20. Well, that's 30. 50, 75 cents. Let's watch and see where it goes from here. We're almost out. Lowe's comes all the way back, guys, and we actually went into the money there. It tipped at 188. So we'll wait to see on that one. We're short at 188.18. Nothing to brag about, but that's our position right now. Let's see where Lowe's goes from here.
Yeah, so that LTPH stopped me and then does one of those fail breaks where I am taking the top and it looks like I didn't go any further. You know I'm usually taking a re-entry on that if I can get it, so slip back into some at 79, give it a bit more room. I didn't get the... Well, I obviously didn't get this fill in front of 180 on Lowe's. It's trying to make that push to the downside. It just can't seem to push any further than that. And Ride is the same thing. It's like, you know, Lordstown, it comes down in, it looks like it's about to make that flush, but it's holding the top end of the range. Now, I'm still willing to average more or get back into some shares in because I have been able to cover and scalp some out to the short side for winners. But at some point, you give up the ghost and say to yourself, if this wants to hold some strength down here, the market is still basically flat. You have to be careful with these shorts at these highs, obviously. We've been saying that all morning long, but it does bear doubling down on here at some of these price levels. Just to go into some of that, I mean, you mentioned the bounce in crypto here, Sean. I want to show SOS, which is right back into the top end of this range. And we talked about this thinking, okay, well, throw it out the window, the idea of no shorting that 325 to 335 range. That kind of comes back into play here where you look at pre-market highs, 330, or even the previous close at 337, back into play. It came back. It's a snapback. It's on volume. Like I said, you got to be careful in this range. That's why you're not shorting at $3 and risking 10%. I think you're shorting in the teens. At absolutely worst here to start the position for me at 317, and then you're getting something along the lines of like low 20s, an average price of maybe 20s, and risking 15 cents at most.
Okay, so we're just going to get out some softy here as the market is coming back down. There it goes again, man. AMC, nice. Bid. Like, look where my bids are, guys. And these are getting out right now at AMC, so a big win here for me on AMC. We just took out some more there on softy. So, yeah, slaying dragons left, right, and center today on everything. So the only thing we messed up with was AMD, which was a small short there. We were just testing it. I wanted to get more short, but then it blew it up. So I was thinking downside short there. So let's watch out on everything right now as we're all coming back in. Good last out there on softy. 20, 40, 60, 80%. Only 20% left. We're going to get out if it cracks here. 239.75. It looks like that's coming faster than we'd hoped for right now. We should have took some more out on AMC on that move up. It gets to 13.05, so duly noted AMC.
Yeah, and that's it. Look, I mean, you can take your notes, make sure you're doing that. I'm going to be shorting this name on a pop, and I want to come back to it just because finally making some kind of a bottom that ONTX penny stock. We wanted it once it broke that dollar range. It gapped down from there. If we get anywhere close to this like 90, and we're getting pretty close to it now, anywhere close to this 90 level, I'll take another crack at this one with to about 92.50 or so as a bit of an out. Brendan, what do you got for us?
Another one we've been looking at over the past couple of days, AT&T, just popping up on volume. Monster print this morning at the open for this one. T, guys, down 2%, but big time levels over here on the daily chart for AT&T.
Yeah, I held that T into the print last night. It was pretty good. I think it was up 4 or 5 cents. So we'll look at AT&T in a quick minute. I do like that name. Yeah, all the volume coming through there. Microsoft. Oh, I wanted to look at NEO. What was NEO doing on a day like this? This is a perfect day trading stock. So, okay, there goes Microsoft. So Microsoft, spin it. It's a money trade, but there it is. It hits our VWAP. This is why you can't be too greedy, man. My number one stock today is AMC, but Microsoft right behind it. Bang, 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 bang. Good trading there. Let's see if AMC makes that money back. Lowe's, it looks like we'll lose a little bit on that, but again, we're still waiting on it. NEO, that's the name we want to talk about, so let's go over there. NIO. If I'm going to do anything here, darn it, was hoping that we'd have that flush down and then the move back up and then a possible short. So right now, NEO coming back down. Let's play off that bottom, 32.73. The NASDAQ looks like it wants to bounce. Let's go long NEO with a 20-cent spread, with 20-cent risk, sorry.
There you go. I mean, find the name that you're comfortable with. You jump in, you get back over to it. Now, of course, Lordstown was one of the first ones that we talked about here. Finally, this looks like it's capitulating a little bit. So we're back below VWAP, 980. I'm sitting at 50 in front of 55. It goes to 65. So this time I'll probably plop a bid a little bit closer to where we are, just in case we calm down a little bit and get this nice little winner. So you stick to ride. It's working out for me. I'm not stopped at Lowe's is back to flat for me, but I still feel pretty comfortable in that short. The market is not bouncing that far. And of course, the retail, some of those earnings have been sold off. SOS as well, still in that range. It just gives me my other fill at that 25. So we got the price we wanted, 21s, give it to the high. If it breaks out, I have no worries. I know exactly where my stop's going to be.
Man, that was easy. Where's my that was easy button? So we just go with a instead, guys. AMC, bang, 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 bang. What was the easy thing about it? That was easy. NEO. Okay, we're out of half right there for 30 cents right away. Sorry, 20 cents right away. Long 95s, out 15s. Now we wait. Now we're 30 cents in the money. Just keep Rip City, guys. Let's go, man. We're making that money, guys, today. It's been a good one. Obviously, on that NASDAQ move back up. Bad out on Microsoft as it's taking out the new high of the day right now. But that's cool. We went and put our money where our mouth was on another stock here, NEO. Nice little move to the upside here. So yeah, we're rocking and rolling here. I'm pretty happy with some of this play so far today. We're near highs, man. I mean, AMC, Rip City. Love this name, guys. We're long at 93 right now, and we loaded up 1, 2, 3. There's a little buy in here. There it is again. Another out at 25. Let's just hit it up, man. Pins lining themselves up for AMC today. Big day. We just got Lowe's is going to be our only loser here.
Yeah, Lowe's could break that one. Well, for me, that 190. And if that happens, we're going to be out of it. I want to show you guys Carnival, just a bit of a double bottom at 26.75 here forming. Has yet to participate in this breakout into any fashion, and now trying to hold this 27 area. So I'm going to go to Brendan. I'm looking along off of that double bottom, 26.74 to be precise. Brendo?
All right, just had a couple alerts on crypto stocks. Mara and Riot, both at the same time. Back through 20 here on MARA on big volume. So even some of these crypto stocks bouncing, guys.
Yeah, crypto stocks. And I want to say a big shout out. I see you on there. Scott H, what up? There go Lowe's. Fall down the toilet. Roller coaster ride on Lowe's today. Okay, breakthrough 191. See ya. Forget about it. We're wrong on that one. We played it off Home Depot. There's the chart. Looks as ugly as that. I will review that chart later. But for right now, let's just talk about some more trades. We gave you that Palantir trade earlier. I was waiting, man. I talked about how key that 20 level was, man. And unfortunately, we had bids lower than that, lower than this, into the 70s. We missed Palantir, but what a great move that was. We talked about it yesterday, how aggressive it is against the NASDAQ right now. But who cares if you miss Palantir when you've got AMC firing off hot dogs. So a nice little move upside again. Thought it was going to take out that 30 level. Maybe a little weak now, guys. We're long at 93. Let's just continue to pair off some AMC. But we're loving life now. Crypto's bouncing back. You can see my attitude has changed.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got to be happy about the bounce back that's occurring. Now, you look for something that lagged a little bit, but still made a pretty decent double bottom. That's going to be that CCL. So quickly try to mention that was happening. I got the 70, so 27 even to the long side. I just took some out for like the 10-cent scalp. You look at this high opening range top at 27.35, and you're going to want to make sure you're taking profit in front of it on the way back up. This is a muted bounce. I mean, it's not like we're going to the moon or anything on that move, guys. So let's be perfectly honest. If you get the opening range here, I'd be happy with that. Maybe coming back in, going long again off that low of the day, rinse and repeat that type of action. I did mention in the small cap space, when I got out of that LPTH, you've seen this before. It's like that felt like a bit of a washout. So did we test that 3? No, we have not tested that 3 even. It tried to, getting up to 290, and when that fails, you know I'm getting back into position. So that's exactly what I've done here. Back into that one. I've also gotten into that penny stock. Of course, that hasn't been too much of a concern whatsoever. Right on the other hand will have to be, we took profit on the way down. That's why you scalp it. Has yet to break 10.15, but it feels like it's a matter of time for Lordstown to break that high. Brendan?
Take two, guys. TTWO moving to the upside as well. Trying to lead, in fact. Another earnings name here. Ends positive after market yesterday. So we're testing this 174. Decent volume for TTWO.
And there goes Bitcoin up to 38,000 again. Like, look at this, guys. It's absolutely insane. If you want to talk about Bitcoin here quickly, we have a one-day chart here. Let's go to a 1-minute chart and just to show you what this just happened. It touches 30,000. We talked about that live on the show, basically to the number there, and then it rips 20% up to 38, more than 20% up. 8,000 on 30. Wow, straight upside there. Nice move. Stopping now at 36. Let's wait to see. Just so funny, man. This crypto market is nuts, and that's why I love it. So we're already in the money on some of those dips. Good buys there. AMC, we took some out, so looking to see what that wants to do now on the downside. But pretty light on AMC now. Only a third left on this name, but let's go. Let's rock and roll this, guys, today. I actually just shorted Ethereum, which was ETHE. Look at this short. Short right here, 50s. It's at O's right now, so a good play there on that as well. And then NEO coming back in. We should have cashed out on that NASDAQ bump.
Yeah, and here comes, I mean, you talked about shorting Ethereum there, just showing you the SOS holding the top end of the range, and there was no need to force the trade and shorting those lows, and we kind of talked about that. If it breaks through that 17, which this was on the bid, it was a bit of a refresher because I hit the bid only to see like an iceberg step up to the plate there on SOS. It never broke, so you wait to average or to add position in because you don't want to fight that kind of a tape or a buyer like that. If it breaks 17s, you want to make sure you're taking some out of that momentum. If it gets to 10s, I will do so. As all this is happening, I mean, CCL actually gave me an opportunity here right back at that 27 range. I missed it. I mean, it slammed down. Hard to see. It did slam down, break all the way to 26.90 very, very briefly before snapping right back in. What this tells me is liquidity is not the same as it usually is at this time in the session. I mean, CCL probably not going to make that kind of a move at 9:48 very often. If we get back up to that 27.15, a 10, 15, 20 type of winner, I'm going to go ahead and take it, sit on the bid, try to rinse and repeat. If it's going to be range bound, I'm going to make some money inside of these spreads on something like a CCL, which is down on the day. Brendan?
Another pharmaceutical name just popping up here. This is a mid-cap, RETA, Retta Pharmaceuticals, 22% here. Nice move through 100, just blasted through 100 there on volume. The FDA notifying them of a new drug certification meeting for one of their treatments that they're working on right now for RETA, guys.
Retta. Okay, yeah, we'll look at that one as well. Just to give an update here, we are we took our last out there on AMC. Now I'm going to hold the rest and see if we do get that 100,000 print like Wall Street Bets thinks we're going to get. So let's go upside. Someone put that in the chat.
Oh, AMC.
I thought it was funny. Yeah, I just thought it was funny. Someone mentioned that, hey, don't get out. AMC's going to 100,000 according to WSB. So we'll wait on that one. If it happens, hey, I'm long. So good trade on there. The only thing we have right now is AMC. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day. So fire off some hot dogs, man. A good trade there on Ether. We talked about that. Now let's wait for NEO to go. We're still waiting on that one. And I did want to check back in the other stock that I traded today. Well, first of all, Microsoft probably at a reload spot. AMD. This is not the chart that I like. When it's looking like that, we stay away. Microsoft went, again, I guess the whole NASDAQ's kind of going to look like this. We did make a mistake there getting out on the VWAP dump, but I don't think it was a mistake. The NASDAQ's coming back upside right now. So let's watch out, man. We're long a lot of good names here. So I don't have any problems. NEO and AMC, I like both those longs. Our Tesla's getting near that. Did it crack 550? I don't know. I know you traded it earlier, Neil, and I don't know. I mistakenly don't know if you were long or short.
I got shook like a halfway crook at a 550 break. And look, I love that. Look, it's a great song. Anyways, it's going to happen to you. You make bottom wicks, you make top wicks, you get shaken out of trades. When it's a breakout style trade and I'm not getting the long off of 540, and this is FireEye because I want to get to that question, and thank you so much for the super chat. It's going to happen to you. If it wasn't a breakout, I probably would have given it more room than what I did. But Nick W. asked about FireEye. And the last time we talked about this name, it was because in response to the ransomware hack, I showed you guys the daily chart that it was getting a bit of a bump. I went the other way. There's the daily chart. It was getting a bit of a bump on that news, and it just showed how the lack of movement, despite of all this talk in the cybersecurity space, that you should be fading it because the top end of the range was firm. That's the reason I like to short that day. Otherwise, it doesn't really go. So I don't like it. If it was up at 21, I'd be saying short it off at 21.50. That's about it. It's done that hasn't even done 500,000 shares, so the volume isn't there. I don't really see much of a reason to trade it. If it was any higher, I'd probably be selling into these tops, though. Brendan?
VIP Shops, guys, another earnings name. They reported, I believe it was Aftermarket. This is a Chinese name as well. It was down initially, so we had sellers down right through 22. But another one that has come right back to where we were in the pre-market here. 23 still, down 7%. But VIP shops moving back higher.
Yikes. Yeah, that was, good call on that one, Brendan. We did talk about how that was a problem with Archegos there. So VIP shop, yes, not good for them. We're trying to trade away here. NEO's 40 cents in the money. So we're looking at that one in the face and seeing what we can do with that. Other than that, man, not much else happening right here. Ether trying to bounce, but not really. So we're waiting on that one. I want to look at, oh, there goes Tesla. We still have that on. I want to look at Palantir as well, making a move to 21. We like that 21 level. So there's no doubt about that. So we have to wait to see what 21 brings us here on Palantir. That may be a good level to fade out there, guys. So 21 on Palantir. Let's wait to see. We might have just missed an opportunity on that ETHE there. So mistake by me. Palantir up to 21. Is the NASDAQ done? I'm going to fade Palantir now short into 21, guys. You don't normally see me say that, but we're going to fade Palantir short into 21.
And this is one of those where I was on the bear train for Lordstown. We're able to take some profit in the first short. We get back in at that 9, I mean, essentially at 10. I got 9.99.5 on the reentry. It breaks that 10.15 level. Remember, that was my line in the sand, if you wanted to call it that, which it was, that we get out of it. I actually had an accidental long position because I did my math wrong, which is horrible. I went to Waterloo. I shouldn't make that mistake. But I just get out of that, pay the spread. So I lost like an extra penny doing that on a smaller amount of shares. I do have to go back to that LPTH. I'm still working this trade. It got me a couple of outs here at 76. Well, partial fill, then got the rest of it out. I'm sitting at 72s. The first shorts into that range did not work, obviously, but once it made that fail break, I do get back in. Pretty much always I'm going to get back into that kind of a trade when it does not take out the top. And of course, the top, whether you want to look at the post market around $3 or you want to look at the pre-market, it's that $3 level that's going to be of concern. I'm going to take a shot buying the dip on Carnival Cruise. If it breaks low of the day, I want to be out. But we haven't been able to get anything but the 27s. I'll try and pick something a little bit lower than that in the 88 to like maybe low 90s. Actually, I prefer the high 80s if I can get it on Carnival. So those are the primary trades. I do still have that penny stock ONTX. If it actually makes a move, I'm short here again at 90 after getting the 96. If it makes a move, I'll let you know, but nothing for now.
Yeah, okay, we just got out. I mean, AMC, I mean, not get out, but we're waiting for it. It just dropped below 13. We took a little piece out there, like 10% of what we had left. We have more left. I'm just saying 10% of our position there. Okay, the day I want to go short Palantir, let's see what happens. So we are now short Palantir at 81, 82s there. We've identified that 21 level. As you can see here, yesterday 21 was pretty key there. So we'll see if it wants to retest it. I'm excited if it does, don't get me wrong. But this was a big move up in the NASDAQ from its lows. And I don't see why we can't really retest the bottoms. I mean, we could. And I don't know. Let's wait to see if that does come through. But right now, Palantir short in the money 5 pennies, but more work needed to be done here. I'm looking right now at Palantir as possibly, like, if we can get back to 65 right here, we'll take some out, and then we'll wait to see VWAP 50, and then we'll just watch the NASDAQ from that point. So let's see if we can't capture a little bit of profit on this. Be nice if we could. Be nice if we are able to hold it. NEO, we're doing the same kind of thing with NEO here, up and down. Next time it comes to 35, please get me out. I'm just going to put an offer there and get out of NEO. If it comes back to 35, it's crashing. Remember, this low here, I do have some more bids, so we will buy this thing against this low, but hey, if it comes crashing down, it's going to be a loser. So we're going to take NEO long side here and see what happens.
Yeah, I just got another fill in Carnival Cruise Line. So it's kind of like you said. I mean, you had something to buy the dip on and made that double bottom 26. That's me 26.74, not 75. It's splitting here. It's only an extra penny. But I'm one more bid in front of it. I will take that 80 if we can get it. I'm not opposed, and I'm going to do it, taking this range of like 10 to 15 cents. I mean, already this morning, you're seeing, and there we go, zoom in here. Already this morning, you're seeing a stock like Carnival with like a 20, 30 cent range, and it's just from an opening range of 60, cutting it in half, going into 10 o'clock. It's just like it's coiling up to do something. If it breaks a low, that's why I want to be out. But if it breaks the high, I want something on board. But you got to take profit inside of the range if you can. I'll say it over and over and over again. LPTH is starting to head to the downside. Now, if it gets to that bottom, I got bids down around where that failed break was at 65. It's approaching it now. So every now and then, look, when you get stopped out at the top, there is a trade that I like where you jam back in. If it doesn't retest the pre-market high, that's what we've done. You're still going to be down because you lose on that first trade, but that doesn't preclude you from taking the next setup you see if it follows your plan. Brendan?
We saw this IPOE pop up late in the day yesterday, moving again today back higher. You can see they've announced June 1st. The new ticker set to begin trading, SOFI, for SoFi, which is still, at this point, IPOE, but up nicely, guys.
Okay, guys, who says I only go long? I'm putting this tweet up because it's funny. Sometimes, we get, Neil's bearish, I'm bullish, but, when it lines up, man, I don't give two whatevers about which way we go. I don't think either one of us does. So there it is, 90s, short, out there. This is exactly the levels we talked about. We just got out 65s. So we're still holding small on Palantir, but hey, a win is a damn win, and that's a good one right here on PLTR. So let's just, I still have some on board. He comes back down to the 60s. We getting more out, boys and girls. NEO, again, I got to put this order up here at 30. I'm going to do that right now. We'll see about NEO. I do want to take some more longs if we get into this area and play off this bottom. Check back in on Lowe's, the absolutely worst, most disgusting stock of the day. Although, what we lost on it, now doable. What's up, Neil?
No, I was going to say it's. I don't think it is, because I still say that me getting out of Tesla that quickly is kind of ridiculous. It's going to hold up for now, but if Tesla's at like 600, it's not going to age well. It's just more in and out. And
yeah, you got out quick. This Lowe's was like top to bottom. That's sort of the problem. Like, you got in and out really fast there. Like, this Lowe's, it's just basically shorting the bottom, then shorting again, then it goes into the money, right? And then we waited. We waited till 9:42. I think your trade was like a blink of the eye, right? Which is the right way.
It's almost too fast, though. Almost.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah, you can't have your stops that quick, but you were playing off that level, right? So that's fine. Like, this is what we do. We use stop orders here, guys. Maybe trailing stops on some of these plays might be a little bit better, but hey, we're trying the best we can. And think about trying the best we can. We don't have to try no further, guys. Just try to follow some of the trades. Like, we've been on fire recently, and I know, here's Palantir again. We don't necessarily only go long. There's a nice short, bang, bang, right into this area. Let's see if we retreat back. So good trading here so far. Looks like we'll be getting our NEO long soon again. I'm bidding 83s against this bottom of 70. So, hey, it breaks. I'm going to get long soon. If this breaks, we gone. But I think NEO's worth a shot here at some of these lows.
I love the reference. I don't think Hawk Harrelson, I don't think he calls Cubs games anymore, but he's an absolute legend. I think you do a little bit better. Well, I'll say that. I'm a Jays fan anyways. Got to tell you about the trades. We'll try to recap as many as we can. The long I have on here is going to be Carnival Cruise. The only long I got on the board, obviously. I just scalped out again. We got some 27.08. We re-entered the trade at 26.88. I know that's exactly 20 cents. You probably shouldn't just marry yourself to like 15, 20, but I kind of do that when we're playing inside of the range. If it breaks this top and gets to like the quarters, I'll take some more shares out. I want to hold through a topside break. I like Carnival in this space. If we're going to get a bounce back in the markets, I did get some out of that ONTX, got back in at 90 cents. I took some out at 87. On a penny stock, if you're not taking 2 or 3 cents on an 80-cent stock, I don't know what kind of return you're looking for, but to start it at 2 and then hopefully get 5 or 6 is fantastic. Brendo, it's already 10 o'clock. Time for Happening Now with Brendan at the big screen.
Yeah, don't want to blink on days like this. You'll miss 30 minutes in this case. Let's jump into how we are doing. It's red, if you hadn't noticed already. NASDAQ 100 and the composite will direct your attention down here. We're leading, tech stocks leading on the south side here. 1.35 for the composite, 1.26 for the 100. You can see the S&P about the same now, 1.22 for the overall S&P coming back to the downside. The Dow, 1.13. Here in Toronto, about a full percent. Even in Brazil, they're down 0.6 so far for the BOVESPA. A couple of things we were talking about in the pre-market. I mentioned this only because, it's holding up very nicely. TTWO, that is, 172 still support here. It's been there for a better part of the first 30, which was the top end of the aftermarket range for take two after earnings. So decent volume there if we do get, a little bit of a bounce. Relative strength on that one. Macy's, however, not so much. There was an upgrade on Macy's yesterday. This one did gap higher in the morning, if you remember yesterday, ends up selling off. So we're down below that 1850 again for M. Guys, back to you.
So I see you guys, and I apologize. Brent's saying MOS Live. Somebody else mentioned this name on the halt, and the chat moves fast, and at times I might miss that name in particular. But 516 halt on I'll call it Mosey because that's what I'm going to do. And then you look at the daily chart. You sort of look at this 540 level. Now, obviously, if you guys have seen that setup idea before, if it's going to gap up below 540, there's not much to do unless it immediately slams back down, and you're catching something in the teens off of a 540 top, risking about 25 cents plus. What will be slippage on that trade. If it busts higher, 7. If it gets to 7, what we're probably going to be doing here, looking for the first reversal that's anywhere close to it. Once you get these halts, I think it's a little bit safer to play into it. Big time volume spike. It's had a couple of moves already to $4, so you can kind of peg that 4 breakout or this cluster down at 425 for some pie in the sky ultimate targets. We'll do a little bit of this. We haven't done any celebrating here, so let's do the walk on water one and just sort of take it off, because I'll show you this ONTX, which, and again, the penny stocks, if you're watching the afternoon show, I did lose on this trying the short off $1 last night, or last evening, I should say, afternoon, I should really say. But it came back in, gave you that trade 89s, and then some more at 90, which we said we'd do. It's right back to the lows. I'll take more out if it gets to that 85s. And then it's not the same kind of idea. It's a little bit different, but over in small cap space, I am also looking at this, and still have on that LPTH. We're going to lose on the initial short. I'm still gonna be, well, I mean, we might turn positive on it if it gets all the way down to ultimate targets, 234, where it closed in yesterday's action. That would be fantastic. I often find myself not putting bids down there. In this particular case, I have bids down to 50. If 50 breaks, I have one in front of that 40 range, just in case it slides down and we're distracted by some more rapidly moving names. One of those could be Carnival Cruise Lines, which touched that quarter mark. So we're happy about it. It's been a decent scalp trade to the long side. We haven't lost on anything, knock on fake wood yet. These tables aren't real wood, I don't think. But if it breaks that low, I'm still out. If it breaks 26.75, I got a bid down in front of 80, so I will buy the dip again, playing inside of this range as long as it holds, but only long in Carnival, despite the fact that it is down in the session.
Okay, so I just want to review, good calls there. I just want to review a few things that just happened there. We really ring the register there. And it's funny because the wheel bail, you got to back it up on NIO there. So, you know, we're still long. You can see we're long 83, but we did take a hell of a position here. I talked about that we were waiting for 83. I gave you the exact number. When it ripped up to us, 10 cents, 5, 8, 9, whatever, in the money, and the futures were still coming down here, man, I just was scalping like a madman there on NEO. 9 fills in total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we're going to get out now. It's gonna get me out of the rest of this on the downside. There it is. So that's why. Like we're still positive on NEO. So you know, able to scalp that out right there. I just wanted to bring that to your attention because that's what we've been doing on that name, and just scalp that out and able to withhold that. I may go long again. That might have been just a blowout bottom there. We'll wait. Palantir though. Let's go on Palantir. This is going to be very timely because we're going to go to Valeri in a second. But Palantir breaks down now to 40s there. Let's just cash this out as we're below VWAP 43. A good trade here on PLTR. What up, Ms. V?
Hey Sean, Tesla hit 547 level. Do you guys think it's a good opportunity to buy?
Neil?
Well, I mean, I did. Look, we talked about five. Well, I mentioned 540 a couple of sessions ago, and I briefly mentioned it here in passing. One of our, I think it was Sterling. Sterling, one of our members. Fantastic guy. Mentioned that 545. It bounced off. What do we like? So that's what I would have been involved in had I seen this. We were distracted with some of the crypto moves. As it comes back down, look, if I like a 540 level and I miss a 545 bounce, I'm inclined to wait for the level that we like in that 540 instead of just taking it off the bottom here. The only long I have on this, not like a buyout that doesn't move, is going to be, well, I mean, it is for now that CCL. If it's going to be Tesla, it's off that 540 level. It might be Coinbase if it retests that 210, although once again, I prefer the 200, which we mentioned with Mark Roberts. So, and I'm kidding myself when I say my trade looks horrible on Tesla. Look, getting out of a 555 long and taking a smaller hit looks fantastic in retrospect. What I was getting at was the fact that I shouldn't have taken a trade at 533. If I had the conviction in it, maybe I should have been giving it a bit of a longer hold because it hadn't really done anything. So I just kind of questioned getting into the trade in the first place if I wasn't willing to give it a little bit more room. That's all I was getting at. I didn't think it was necessarily that bad of an idea. SOS, so the entire time crypto was making that move and Bitcoin across the board, making those moves, I sat it out in SOS despite that being the equity name that I like to play the shorts in. When it finally came back into the range I liked, I shorted it when it tried to break the 17. It did not. I waited for it to come back up towards that 325, got myself an average price of 21s. I mean, these 23s are all we have left as an average price. It broke that 17 eventually. I take some out in front of 10. This bit is too shallow. The next cluster here is about 3 to 305, so that's where I want to sit. If this move continues to the downside, there's really not much to do. I know where my stop is going to be. It stays at that high. And otherwise, we're just going to sit on the bid here, guys. MOSY, Mosey, that's what I'm calling you. it didn't give that short off. I mean, obviously, it doesn't actually, break lower. You can see that here. Breaks to the upside. I told you guys 7. So, I mean, if it goes there, fantastic. If you play the long side of these trades, you know that I don't really. So I'm waiting around to see if it can make a push into 7. If it decides to, all over itself, it would probably have to break that 516, give you like a 5 area entry for a real time flush, and then maybe give it back to 16s or 25s on a tight stop. So for me, I have specific setups I look for on those reopens. It did not give it. I'm not forced to trade it because I'm not looking for the long.
Nope, exactly. And there goes Palantir. So out, back on a trailing stop, back through VWAP. So out there on PLTR. We'll wait to see where it wants to go from here. But Palantir right now upside on Palantir. So we watch the NASDAQ move back up. So good trade there, hopefully. Anyways, we'll see if it's a good trade. It may come back into the downside. I got to cancel now because I don't want to go long 21s. We'll revisit this, but that's it. We are now cleared out. And yeah. The cash cow, both on the short and the long side, coming in today for Palantir. So good trading on that one. AMC, I mean, no diamond hands over here. No diamond hands, but we're going to get it again. Let's just get it again. 87s. We just bid again. 77s, 75s. Bang. Like, this is how you win on days like today, man. Like, there's some other channels, to the moon, diamond hands, blah, blah, blah. They keep throw them up. But the point is, guys, honestly, in this kind of a market, I would love AMC to go. Don't get me wrong. We're going to always hold something on board, but let's just be realistic with it. Like, you got to trade if you can. And this is making some money. So like every single time I buy here and then take it out and buy again, it's just like reloading, right? All we're doing is reloaded and then spitting this stuff out. So, we're positive today. It's been a good day so far. Let's see if we can make it a little bit better. Looking for some more names, of course. Oh, I don't mind going back to NEO. So we did get stopped out there. I was talking about maybe that was the bottom. Should have re-looked at that here at 60s. But again, what is the NASDAQ going to do? That's really the answer to the question at this point. If the market goes back to the upside, I know I like NEO. I know I like Softy. Where's Softy at? Okay, so actually this is a good level for Softy as well. Maybe playing off some of these bottoms here. Let's go long Microsoft 240 and use this bottom. We could definitely withhold 40 cents on this one, guys. Yeah,
and you know what? I was going to tweet out this ONTX just to show you guys. Go where your comfort level is, right? Like, it's not a coincidence. And anyway, we joke about it from time to time with like Palantir, like going over to NEO, but in a market like this, and forget about that trade. You can show a winner anytime. In a market like this, where it feels like it's doom and gloom. I mean, the ES here, this is a 60-minute chart. We're basically, and this is since the open. What are we doing? We're actually in a 100-point range in the NASDAQ, and on the ES, it's about a 20-point range. So if you're all over the place, you're just getting stopped everywhere. Have I gone back to lows? Nope. Have I gone back to the LPTH? Yes. Have I gone back to CCL? Yes. Have I gone back to this penny stock? Yes. You go back to your roots, figure out the stocks you got the read on, and just play those. We're right back to that low. I take some money at 85, just like the plan is. So I know we're excitable because it's a lot of fun. But if it gets back into 90s, I'll probably rinse and repeat. I'll get out if it breaks this 91 top. I'll get back in if it tests 95, 96 in front of a 97 to a dollar range that we like on the top end. So I don't have to think about those levels because I kind of know them off by heart. Same thing with this Mosey. Like, I can sit here watching it go crazy on my level 2. Whoops, that's still on ONTX for some reason. I know why that happens sometimes. Anyways, it's going crazy on my level 2 here, all kinds of volume pumping through, but I already know I'm not touching it in this range. It can do whatever it wants here. It either pumps up to that 7 where I like it, or close enough to that 7 where I like it, or it makes a real flush down, back below that 516. Give me like a 5 entry, something along those lines. Otherwise, just stay away from it. I've rinsed and repeated, CCL. It's getting back close towards that low, so I'll buy the bottom one more time, and eventually. Look, is my last trade potentially going to be a loss on Carnival? Yeah, it's true. If it breaks the low, it's going to happen to me. But if I've made some money by scalping in and out and taking profits, that's not necessarily a bad thing. And sorry, I was just watching. I thought that Mosey might actually make that break there, so I don't want to get away from it. But CCL right back into that low. Now am I bidding at 26.80? Okay, yeah, I haven't had a chance to be able to get that bid when we thought it could go down there. Maybe all I can catch is these 90s. So I'll probably throw a bid down in here a little bit more aggressively to catch a better price if we can get it. The long has been pretty good down here. I think if we break out, CCL is a great candidate to get through this top, test 27.50, and then maybe you got something going for the rest of the session. But you're not forced to dig your grave with any of these trades. It's only 10.11. If you're up on the session, fantastic, like we are. I mean, that's great. But if you're just sitting there flat, you're not forced to get into anything. Find something you really like, a setup that you know works for you. Go back to your roots and just stick to a plan. And if you don't have one, then just learn from a market like this by watching.
And this is what we just did again. Like, let's just kick it off on Softy. Like Neil, I mean, it was almost perfect timing there. He talked about going back and staying away from lows, going to things that you trade well. You guys know that when it comes to Softy, like, sometimes it's just pay that mortgage, man, if you have one. Upside, or just put the money in the bank, or pay off your debts, or whatever. Pay off that credit card. Don't ever hold a credit card debt if you cannot.
God,
I
no.
mean, that is like obviously. Okay, whatever. Well, I could talk.
No, you can
finance.
make that rant. That's reasonable, man. Come on.
Yeah, I could. I mean, I could talk this all day. But there it is, right here, guys. In, there, and out within the same minute. We take a smooth 30 cents there on Softy. So in at O's, out at 29s there. That's I guess 28 cents. Nice win. Now it comes back in. Should have taken them all off, but again, you know, we're light. We will average in, and we'll use this bottom there on Softy. So watch out for that. And again, I don't think today's the right day to have diamond hands, guys. I think you got to sort of go back and forth on some of these names. Make sure you get the right prices, scalp them in and out. Here's another example on AMC, up to 90, right back to where we want to get long again. So we can do that, right? And if you have enough powder in the keg, then that's sort of what you want to do. You want to keep reloading if you can and just keep touching it up. Like all of these, you can see, I don't know, I have no idea what it shows at the bottom, how many pennies we've taken out of AMC, but it's like reload. Like if I had still held this from the morning, I would be flat on AMC right now, right? Instead, we're not. It's my number one stock. So AMC to the upside right now. That's what I do. I rinse and repeat it, and now I'm willing to hold the rest. I don't want to get any more out. Should have got more long, but was blabbing my mouth off. So let's put some more bids in the 70s here, and then see about taking that. But right now, huge opportunities, I think, in AMC if you play off this 1260 bottom.
And there you go. We're going to go with the Wiz right here. Well, I mean, it's a fantastic rant. You can't say enough about just obviously smart decisions. Credit card debt, I mean, come on. What are you talking about? I don't even like, whatever. I won't even get into like mortgage debt. Like, I hate debt in general. I'm just an anti-debt guy. Go back to roots. ONTX, it continues to break down. Now that it's broken the low, I probably should point these levels out to you just on the off chance it gets down here. If it breaks that 80, you go into yesterday's action. And then right around, it was close to lunchtime when it made this bottom at 80 cents. That's why I think that's the next level. I want to take some shares off. And then you go to about 10 o'clock, which is this time of the day yesterday. This was at 75. So it's not just picking those even 5-cent ranges out. They're also where this happened to have support on the way back, on the way to the upside when it eventually broke one. So on the way down, if it was level on the way up, and I can treat it as level on the way down to take some profit out in front of it, that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So I'll get my orders ready and locked and loaded to go. And then it's easy peasy from there. Lemon squeezy, I think Rob used to refer to it as, or maybe that's a saying. I don't know. You guys didn't think tizzy was a saying, so easy peasy lemon squeezy is probably going over a few heads there.
Yeah, we'll flush easy peasy lemon squeezy down the toilet, although mine could say that. You know what one I like? We used to have it. It was easy peasy mac and cheesy.
That's the one.
That's the better one. There it is. Here, let's hit this one. If you like mac and cheese, say hell yeah. There it is. All you do is, it's very, very simple. Let's do this again. If you haven't made mac and cheese before, this is what you need. You need a bowl, and then you need some macaroni, and then you need some cheese, and then it turns into that. Okay.
My godmother would differ. Like there's mac and cheese, then there's mac and cheese. When you go to like a good barbecue, you know what I'm talking about,
yeah,
right?
of course.
So,
I mean, that's just generic there. I just want to show you quickly before we go to Brendan here. AMC right there. And that's what we're doing, guys. That's a mac and cheesy trade. You know, long at 75s there, out right when it gets to VWAP. This is what your boy doing. Let's rinse and repeat. It's kind of a disco day, although if you're long, it's kind of a tough one. But hey, we're still at the highest spot we've been at all day. What's up, Beep?
We were talking about this ride in the pre-market, guys. Amazing relative strength in the stock today, 4%. Look at the entire rest of the EV space, definitely not so much, but up 4% here. We're coming back into these highs from yesterday, 1080 to 11, a big area for ride.
yeah, I mean, that's going to be a losing stock for me. I'll go, I mean, Ride, Lordstown, and of course Lowe's, neither one of those working out for me there. And we did scalp some out for Ride, but I mean, that's a stock I've been trying to short almost every single chance I get. And it's like, it never gives you that real break that I've been trying to capture here. Now, CCL, rinse and repeat. I said I'd step the bid up after it, got to 90s and puts in these, look, it's 74, it's 77, then here at 86, we actually got that at 87, and then here at 90, so it's kind of creeping up, but I mean, it's also putting in lower highs, right, grinding towards VWAP. So these ranges that we're getting, it's still, get long at 94, and get out at 14. I know it's 20 cents again, but it is what it is, right? So it's scalping the 20 cents, holding a long position in case it moves, right? And the chance that it moves, I'm going to take that. We're probably going to have a 27.50 break as well. I mean, 27.50, this pre-market level does stand out, but you take some profit onto it. Make sure you maintain a long position if that's the core that you want. The same way I maintained the short in SOS, which it got close. I mean, obviously, last time I got in it was 23s, and maybe I should have been trying 20s instead of like 23s here. That obviously would have been a right decision, but hindsight is 20/20. It's rolling over again, and I missed an opportunity to add because it didn't quite come high enough here to give me that rinse and repeat action. Probably missing it by a couple of cents there. I'll maybe go and throw a 20 in there this time so I can get some more shares of SOS. So basically everything doing the same thing. I'm not getting any new positions, just all the ones that I'm managing. Scalps not at the bottom end of the range, willing to get some more back out, not moving my stop. And then that's it. Looking for Mosey, which is doing absolutely nothing. I'm not caught up in this chop, right? So it's holding a 520. I mean, if I was short here at 530, what am I doing? Like, I'm probably getting out here at 550, holding it to the high of the day. I'm not going to get caught up in that kind of a thing. I'm just going to wait for it to make a move, and I'm going to follow along with it. So if it pops up to 7, like I said, fantastic. If it doesn't, it is what it is. Missed any opportunity at Coinbase. It never got to 200. This is 208. I mean, when I said I'm willing to step in front of a bid at 200, that's like 202 or 203. More likely even like 201 is an absolute last price, but not 208. So I'm going to miss out on any bounce that it's had, which is still down 9% and isn't much. 220 has tried and failed one time. It's now testing that level again. So that kind of sits there as a potential breakout, but I'd rather see a bit of a stronger, I mean, if we're back above and holding 35 on spot there on Bitcoin, I should say, that will look a heck of a lot better. It'd be even better actually if you're breaking out through that level and getting like, 1,000 higher than that, you can still catch a 220. That kind of a lag would be fantastic. If that's the case, I'm likely stopped out of my SOS trade, that's for sure.
We're at the highest spot, man, today, so we're smiling again right now as AMC, like Rip City, Neo, man, damn you. We had you, and we just got squeezed out of that position, darn it. Microsoft, though, man, the best stocks keep getting better, and right there, we break the screens. Hopefully, send me the bill if I just broke your monitor there. 240, 240.80 upside, 241, 241.20. Let's go. I mean, we're long Softy, 51 cents in the money on this one. We are long AMC now. Obviously, we've talked about that. I just put a bid at 80, man, and missed me. So we're back there. You'll see it again fill in when it comes back down. Hopefully it does for me anyways, and we'll get longer because I'm light. This is the only problem when you're scalping, and we're gonna keep it real, right? I mean, it's just that when it does rip up, I'm not gonna have as many shares. So there you go. So that can happen to you. And but for now, AMC looks pretty barcoded and pretty much what I want it to be doing. Up to VWAP and back down, and we'll just keep rinsing and repeating. But there's no way. When it comes back down, we'll never load up that where if it breaks, and this is part of risk management, right? 19 years trading. I know I look like I'm 70, but 19 years trading, I'm not going to load up here more than if this breaks, I will give up all my profit. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. Just said it wrong. I'm not going to put on more risk than to give up my profit if it breaks the bottom. So right now I sort of look at how much I'm up. Like if you're up $100 on AMC and you say, okay, if I get long at 80, my out's going to be 60, so that's 20 cents. So then you don't want to have more than 500 shares, right? So you just do the kind of math like that. You never want to give up your profits on one bad trade when you've made this many executions, especially if you're paying execution fees. Yikes. Brendo, I guess, at the big screen. Take it over, my man.
All right, guys, small cap time. Let's pretty quiet morning overall as the overall market was making a move. So individual small cap names pretty far few between. We'll talk about LPTH here in a second, but want to mention this ride. Also going to be a losing stock for me today as well. But the reason I like this so much to the downside was because the rest of the entire group was very, very weak. So this thing, as I mentioned, a ton of relative strength here, just grinding the whole morning back into this range from yesterday. Of course, we got that announcement from President Biden about more funding coming into the space, but there was a couple of levels to look at here. So 10.15 was this kind of pivot from the midday throughout the day yesterday, and then above that 10.40 came into play a couple of times, and then this is 11. So I mentioned 10.80 to 11 is the top from yesterday. So we're right here right now. I actually flipped long once we got above that 10.40. So a nice move into 11 on the long side for ride, but really, really strong. when the market is definitely not. LPTH, pretty quiet one. Had to lighten up a little bit once that high broke right at the open, but I still have most of this still kind of grinding to the downside. But once we get below this 270, 265 area, I mean, this thing has a lot of room down to 240. Just a slow mover, guys. Back to you.
It is a slow mover, and now it's finally looking like it makes some sense. I mean, I'm still holding on to half my LPTH. I never like hearing that Brennan is long when I'm actually thinking about a short. Now, you're going to see a red arrow, which means I got out of a long position here, but keep in mind that was the only thing I was doing on ride was shorting in front of 1015, so 1015 was the key level. Sometimes when there's levels like that, I got to be actually like the reversal alongside, so I get out of it, I pay a little bit of spread, and then it goes like a full dollar. Anyways, it gets to that 11 mark. Now, it's had one test up to 1105. This is a 15, just to show you yesterday's action. Two tests at this price without breaking 11. You're back below that 11 mark. So for me, that's usually going to be a bit of a go zone. The kind of thing that, I mean, Mosley didn't really set up for me for the short side, but to get back in, and I only usually look for these types of setups to the short side. I talked about this for the long, and yes, it's grinding up. If it breaks the high of the day, I'm out. You're risking 15, 20 cents, depending on what slippage might be. And this cluster down here at 1050 is your ultimate target. So if I'm risking 15 pennies, I'm probably going to take some bid out. The first bid is going to be usually that 15 pennies down on a 1-to-1 ratio. Breaks the high of the day, and you're like immediately getting out of it. This is the thing. You don't even have to sit back and know what's going to be you're out, or do I get out? Do I hold it or not? I know exactly what the setup I'm looking for is. So I get into ride. It's like scalps, lose, lose. So now I'm going to be down on ride. I'm going to walk away from this one, and unlike Nicola, I'm not going to double down, get back in like 2 or 3 more times here, which I usually do in the Nicola because I have such a negative sentiment on it. I'm happy to see the setup and go for it. That Mosey, which is similar, and I'm still going to probably look at this trade and get into it. It's a little bit shocking. That's kind of, I mean, the fact that it hasn't broken down at this point, I guess, is good for the bulls, but it's starting to coil here, looking like it wants to press to the downside. You have to watch out for that whole price at 516 if it does fade through that level. It kind of gives you a bit of a short entry there. Carnival Cruise Lines, Carnival Cruise Lines just touched the top end of that pre-market range, this 27.35. It hasn't broken it yet, but the next pullback, forgetting about 29.60, if it gets to like a 27, I'm likely to continue that trend of buying a little bit higher each time as it's showing like it wants to grind towards that eventual, hopefully, top end break. We've been basically long all morning buying those dips. Let's see if it works out. That Mosey breaking to that 16 just now.
Okay, and yeah, we're still trying to do the same kind of stuff here. Watching AMC, we did reloaded on that name, as we said we would, guys. We're trying to be as real as we can with you on our positions and what we're trying to do here. So there's AMC, so we reloaded that one back upside. We're long at 76 now, so let's put a couple more orders in, man, and just keep on rinsing and repeating the trade that we want, right? So if we can do that, that's going to be great. Softy comes upside now. The NASDAQ basically at its high of the day, right? Forget about all this earlier. We opened up right here on the NASDAQ, 8:30 it shows. Obviously it's CME, so 9:30 our time in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. But it was a good idea to hold the NASDAQ long. We'll wait to see here as it's going upside. This may be a good spot just to get out, man. 70 cents in the money on Microsoft, probably worth taking right now. But I don't know. Let's just give it some time. The problem is, like, if I put a stop order, I'll probably get stopped out down here, as here it comes right down. So, you know, further to what the NASDAQ's going to do, let's just hold Softy. I'm crazy that we didn't get longer down there. I was waiting down in this area. Should have just put a bid at 240, but we didn't, so we missed that one. Okay, AMC, we've talked about that. NEO's a missed opportunity for sure today. Let's check in on some of the banks. Go Microsoft. We can have diamond hands on a few things, but how about the Softy trade? That's going to be a good one, man. We ain't smoking anything. The only thing that's smoking right now is Mr. Softy and the NASDAQ as we're starting to break upside right now. We're right back at this day high here, so this is probably a decent spot to get out, but we're not going to. Let's see how far this thing wants to run right now. Let's go NASDAQ. Let's go Softy.
There you go. And look, it's about having a plan. It's about executing. That's what I love to see. I mean, and this is the thing. I mean, we don't actually plan this. We have no script, obviously. So it's not like I know that Sean's going to go back to the staple stocks, but it's not a coincidence. We say it over and over again. Wait around for that MOSY. It finally makes that move to breaking down. Now, I do miss, I think, what would have been an ideal entry. I got some shares at 8. Then I got some more shares down here at 5s. Now, clearly, had that been like 10s and 12s off of 16, which was that halt price, that's a heck of a lot better. But just because I chased an extra 5 cents down doesn't mean I don't still take some shares when it gets to that low 90 range. If that only ends up being like 10 cents instead of 15, 20 on the first move, that's fine. Your outs should remain your outs, and they shouldn't be necessarily relative to the price that you have. I'll take another leg here at 91. If it breaks this, I'm looking more at that 475 and 450, which would be the ultimate target. So I waited for Mosley to make its play. It did. We take that trade, and then hopefully we're going to have a bit of a winner here. Now it's consolidating off of 490. If it breaks back definitively above that halt price, which is 516, so call it 20s or 25s, whichever one you prefer, I'll just get out of the trade. So it's a relatively tight stop, which I like to have on these high flyers. It's 20 million shares, but you watch these lower float stocks, you know the danger of that position, and you don't want to get caught up holding it to the high of the day, averaging in, or things like that. Speaking of getting back in, I did move my order to 20s on SOS, and this is what's happening. It's just kind of sitting here right at 320. If I get the fill, fair enough. I'm going to rinse and repeat, get some out in front of 10, so that'd be like 10-cent scalp, which at this time of day might be a bit much. Maybe I should be taking at least some out for like 5, 6, or 7 on SOS. It's a $3 stock after all. Brendan?
I've seen this box light pop up a couple of times, just double checking to make sure there's nothing significant. I haven't seen anything significant on box light today. No, I don't think so. But very strong as well. I mean, not a huge mover. It's up 3%, but just kind of grinding to the upside. It's more the volume that's coming in right now. In a tight consolidation here on the daily chart for box L, guys, moving higher.
Look, guys, part of what helps, clear mind, have some vitamins, some Kirkland. We keep talking about Costco there. So I forgot today, so we're going to go Costco. We're going to go Hydration Nation as well. Stay hydrated, and hopefully, you'll have a little bit of a better vision on the market. Speaking about vision, what's up to Winter Soldier? I haven't watched the end of that one yet.
What?
But WandaVision, a good one.
You haven't watched the end of Winter Soldier
No,
yet?
I think we have 1 or 2 more episodes to go. The kids sort of switched over to Mighty Ducks, and that new one was Stamos there, Big Shot. They're pretty good. They're on Disney. They're pretty good. Support the Disney stock, guys. You know we're long that one. Okay, so 241.40. That's a big run up on the NASDAQ here. So I'm going to hold on to Microsoft, but no problem if you guys get out right now of Softy. I mean, I can't blame anybody for not taking this $1.20 win on Microsoft, especially now that the NASDAQ just kicked over that mine. Like just like flat is pretty key. Also is like -1%, -2%, up 1%. You know, like those levels are also key. So we just cracked that on NASDAQ. So let's see if it wants to keep going. We're right at these levels right here. Top. These are pre-market highs. I mean, even back. I mean, this is the morning, but 4 or 5:30 in the morning. But we're right at these levels right now. So let's wait to see. Someone messaged just here on the chat, Neil, QS. We talked about that earlier. It was almost made our list because it was down pretty good today, down to 27.80. I mean, a lot of stocks were. Now this stock's starting to run back upside a little bit here. I still think QS pegs to 35, probably like right here. So we'll see if it can get back going. I'm not going to be today, but QS does have that potential, I think, as well. And then they also mentioned Fisker. So shout out to all you guys. Yeah, Fisker, nice move on Fisker, actually. Right back to zero. Okay. Again, this is the only electric vehicle play. This and XL Fleet are like the only 2 that I've stamped on. So if you like these plays, good. But Ride's been moving as well, up and down. Nikola, obviously. Some of these are so depressed lately that, you know, I don't mind it. But the Fisker Ocean should become a reality at some point. But so are the Lucid cars. So CCIV, Churchill Capital. Oil today, guys, down 4%. I don't think we've talked about that enough at all. No. Crude oil getting cracked. Today, guys, down 4.37%. XOM down 2.5%. So let's watch out. I remember I talked about buying puts on XOM. That's working out so far. And here we go, barcoding a little bit. We'll see if XOM takes out these lows as oil, Brendan, pushing down 4%. I don't know why I said Brendan. Neil, oil pushing down 4% there. I don't think you have any plays, but you like. What's the one? You like Oxy?
I mean, Oxy is a better day trade. I shouldn't say that. Oxy has historically been a better day trade for me just in terms of the volatility. So it's where I jump to. I mean, look, if you're investing, I mean, if you're not going to put it into, I'd say Chevron or Exxon. I mean, there's a few other names that I would like, even remotely, but Oxy's just, I like it as the day trader vehicle there, so I'll probably have a look at that. I did miss out on those JD, and look, we talk about these levels, and I'm glad someone took advantage of it. I didn't see exactly when and where that was, but it is back at that 750. I did like it off that pop at the open, but that's come and gone. I'd probably wait until it got to that. If you go back to the 7 o'clock ramp, it goes to that 71 high. I'd play off that level if I had to short it again. You did come and go. You did get a $2 move or $1.50 at least, but that time has come. The second time is not always the same as the first. So I will say there, we're busy. I have like 5 or 6 positions on. It's hard to have much more than that here. So good levels on JD, but I did miss out that opportunity. Glad someone had it. Brennan?
Crude. I mentioned crude there. So it's Wednesday. That means crude oil inventory is just out. It was a build, quite a large build, in fact, on the inventories. 1.3 million barrels versus 1.6 expected. So a little bit less than expected, but still a huge build for crude inventories. Guys, it's 10:30. Let's take a second, get a check on how things are shaping up over in Europe. 1 hour left in the session in Europe. Miss B, what's up?
Hey Brennan, Europe is also negative. Miners, travel and technology stocks are the top decliners. Infineon technology trading in Germany is down around 3% on concerns about a global semiconductor shortage. Back to you.
Yeah, tough to find positivity today, guys, regardless of the market you are looking at. Back to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I will say is that like the NASDAQ is now less than 1% to the downside here. I mean, there has been a bit of a move. We're above 35,000, kind of holding that on Bitcoin. That being said, one of the reasons why I jumped to SOS for the short side of the trade is, it tends to be a little bit weaker relative. So if we can get back, and I said, this is ridiculous. This time of day, you see these ranges. It's going to be a lot more like a 5-cent range, 5 to 10 cent range from that 320. So I should be taking that instead of hoping it's going to come down to 3 even. So I'll go with that and then start scalping this trade a little bit tighter because of that time of day. You do have to adjust things as the stocks move around as it gets later on in the session. You understand that there's not as much volatility around certain times of day. Now, that doesn't necessarily change for something like an MOSY. It doesn't matter that it's this time just yet, maybe at 11 o'clock, but I already had that bid down at 91. We just got another fill down there. If it breaks through here, I'm waiting for like 70. So, the shallower end of the trade, we've already taken that off. Need a bigger push down to get the rest out in front of like that 470, I should say, not $47. If it was at 47, I'd be crying. 470 and then 450 on MOSY. So this one, we waited for it to calm down. We waited for a move. We took advantage of it here. That's going to work out for us. It should be hitting one of these keys. We'll go fist bump action because there's been a lot of good potential trades today, and sometimes you can't have them all, but we've been in multiple positions all morning. I still have done nothing with Coinbase, but except pointing out how many times it failed at 221. These are all real, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you took a 320 break, it's like 4 times it's now failed. This does give you a chance that we can possibly pull back to some of those lows. Clearly, it's not a bad thing for my SOS trade, but I'll be a sort of kind of happy that we get a chance to trade 200s, but not happy that Coinbase goes there, obviously, as a shareholder. That does feel like a distinct possibility, but the more times it tests and fails at 220, at some point, if it extends that move, you are looking for a breakout. What I would do there is just say long 221, like not long 220, not long 225. Let it go to 221 and maybe give it like a couple of dollars from that kind of a breakout. Then you're short because there's room. I mean, if we do get this snapback and we made a bit of a bottom here and there's a recovery in the afternoon, does it matter that you pay 221 instead of 220 if it's going to make a push to 226, 227, maybe that next leg up to 230? Probably not. So, be sure that it's actually making that breakout instead of either getting chopped up here, which could be happening to you, or getting a 220 long that you're just losing $5 on when it had no chance to go and it's showing you it's having trouble at that particular level. So I'm sticking with what's working. LPTH needs to break 260 for me to get more out. I mean, 23 cents in the money on a $2 stock. I should probably be taking a little bit more off here.
Yeah, we were just doing the same thing. I was looking at Microsoft. If this breaks back down through 241, we're going to get out and just celebrate. Voice cracking. Just celebrate. Just celebrate a big dollar win here on Microsoft. So we'll wait for that one to see if that's going to come back up. I'm noticing Freeport-McMoRan coming back in a little bit as well today with some of these moves. We talked about commodity prices coming to the downside right now. So oil, obviously copper down 3 or 4, 5%. I'll have to double check that. But Freeport today down 7.5%. On a daily chart, this has been where your money's needed to be basically the last 6 months with that run up in gold. We talked about gold a little bit. Gold, oil, everything on that run up. Freeport, again, a major copper play, but copper's been hot fire as well. So we'll watch this one riding. Look at this 50-period moving average. If there's one thing that you're going to learn, hopefully you'll learn that A, the show is pretty damn good, and then hopefully you also learn B, 50-period or 50-day moving average, I guess, period, on a daily chart. Pretty key. Brendo.
Yeah, what a chart on that one. Haven't noticed that one. Just want to bring PayPal to everyone's attention. Down with cryptos, obviously, this morning, but nice recovery here. We're getting back into some of these aftermarket levels from yesterday. 242.5, I guess it is, up to about 244. Pretty key here for PayPal, guys.
And slam to the downside is, it's not Onyx, it's ONTX. It's one letter off. It's so close to that. Anyways, fantastic group. 81s just got hit, so we talked about these levels all the way down. We knew exactly what we were going to be doing here. Watch out, because Lowe's just broke 187. Wow, I didn't think that was going to come into play. We like that 187 on the... I can't. That's a horrible thing to say. So I've got 187 to the short side on Lowe's as it broke to the downside. ONTX, the rest of my bids are out, down. I'll be flat if it gets to 75. We talked about that level. We showed it to you. I said I had stayed away from Lowe's, and this wasn't the stock I was going to go to next, but the position came in. I mean, look, I'm short. Look, I took a short and lost on Lowe's 189, and now I'm short at 187. So am I happy about the fact that the first one lost? I had to stop. It broke it. And then that level break has finally come into play. So I wanted to be on the south side. I've taken 0 longs on this stock. It's just crazy to me that I couldn't find my way into a short at a better price when it's just fallen $4.50. But it is what it is. I'll scalp some of it out here because you shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth. But dang, that short didn't age well from earlier in the morning on Lowe's.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's the only losing trade we have on, guys, today, Lowe's. And that was a 180. I remember I was short 188.20 or something on Lowe's. 188.20 short on Lowe's. And yeah, we got out the high of the day. That's going to happen, whatever. I mean, I've made some great plays since then, so we'll move on from that. And we just got out of Softy as it does break down back down below 240. So yeah, we will go to the moon with Softy today. One of my best stocks. Back and forth again. So Softy, good trade there. Like the price action on that name. We were too busy looking at Freeport and talking some book there, but unfortunately, Palantir, guys, it does go right back to 21. Perfect opportunity to short. We would have been short in here. I just want to put this exact same trade on if I noticed it again. So back up, and we wouldn't have got taken out. I mean, it would have gone, I don't know, was that real 21? No, it didn't go to 21.24. It went to 21.03 or 04. Yeah, that might have stopped me out. Generally, we would like to have our stops a little bit higher. So maybe it wasn't a great trade, but here it comes right back to the downside now, and a good out there on Softy, I think. Like, look, now it's coming back in. We'll wait to see if we can pick it up a little bit lower. I talked about the NASDAQ and how key that 1% was. Basically, we danced around it before turning. So there you go. Like, that's another thing there to watch out for. Okay, where is this button? I like this one. If you know what song this is from and it's your first time, you can participate, but you know where this is from if you've watched this show a couple times. One of my favorite ones. Okay, last time I did that, I kicked out the power cable, so we won't do that again. Okay, so here comes AMC now. I want to reload this one soon, guys, like almost right now. I could just put a bid out. It seems like it's holding 60 here. We can. Let's take a little bid here. Okay, there it goes. So now it goes right to the level we want. So there's 58. So that's what we wanted. So we got some 58s now. Now we're reloaded on AMC, and we're going to try to give this to that bottom of 1250. Look, if it breaks, we've already discussed our risk management. I cannot be negative on AMC today, and I only give back about half if it breaks this 1250. So AMC coming to the downside. This is a 3-minute chart, wrong one. I actually want this 20 period up here just to show you guys. Here's 1250 right here. We're coming into this crack spot right now. So it's bounced around here a couple times. We haven't visited it since. So get ready. It bounced off 1250 a couple days ago. That was actually 1260. So here it comes screaming to the downside. AMC, man, we're going to get cracked. It's going to be a loser if it breaks. But hey, we're well aware of that, and we've accordingly sized down on AMC so we don't take this the wrong way. So let's wait to see. Hopefully that's a bid now, Med. We're long at 66 on AMC. I don't want to take any more shares. We're going to give this through. But hey, a big day requires a sector watch, and I think that let's go see where we got to trade Ooh, Brendan, nasty board.
Yeah, one of those days. Unfortunately, a lot of red to discuss so far today. I mean, it would be easier to start, I guess, with what is not red. There's Target, 4.4%. There's Take Two, which we've mentioned a couple times, TTWO, 4.2%. There's a couple of names here in the semiconductor group, ENPH, I don't even see what that is. ADI, another one to the upside, 1.7. Everything else in the entire market in negative territory. Industrials are leading right now as far as an entire sector, and I mean the entire sector is in negative territory. The airlines all here leading 3 to kind of 4%. Deere down 4.3% today. That's a big move for Deere. URI, ROK, HON, I mean pick one, they're all in negative territory. Retailers outside of Target, very weak. So 5.5% for Gap, LB here, TJX, KMX, TSCO, 3.5 to 4.5%, where Target 4.5% to the upside. Under Armour here as well, 3.5 and 3.75% to the downside. Far corner, material stocks. We were talking about that FCX, 7.6%. Still to the downside. The entire energy group, very, very negative on the day. Same story with those little real estate stocks. But yeah, if you're wondering, you missed that. 4.3% for TTWO is that one. Some semiconductors positive, Target positive. Otherwise, 1.6% for the entire market, guys. Back over to you.
So I'm going to quickly run it down here because you're good luck. And usually, if I'm in 5 or 6 positions at this particular time of day, I should have usually 1 or 2 that are against me because of the nature of going against the grain in some kind of stocks here. But CCL, 24 cents in the money. Lowe's, it was 50. It's bouncing a little bit now. We did take 50 cents off. Now we got 36 in the money. The LPTH, I did take some more off because it was 23 cents in the money. Kind of ridiculous not to. It's a $3 name. Mosey as well. I could go down the line, but I'll give you one. So people wanted to know a reason that will get me to eat pineapple pizza. And only because it came to my mind here when I was trading lows to get that glow, push it to the limit and live it till you swim in them digits. We can get that glow. Pull it from the floor to the ceiling until we make it a killing. If you can tell me the name of the group that those lyrics are from in the next 10 minutes, I will eat pineapple on a pizza live on the show. Zero chance any of you guys can get it. I am very, very confident in that because it's a low-key and fantastic rap group. One of my top 5. And probably on no one else's, though.
I didn't
Even you don't know it. Even you don't know it.
Honestly, I wasn't really paying attention. I was looking. I heard you spitting some stuff, and I was like, I'm gone. I can't. I missed it. Someone said like,
oh crap,
Camp Low. So you're done.
Are you what?
So that's that. So
how the hell? Really?
Ordered some pineapple pizza. I will order it. It'll be on the show tomorrow.
How did you get that?
If we can't get it today, Neil will be eating
Charles Long
pineapple pizza. So thank God. Thank you guys. Whoever that was, Camp Low. Good job there. We didn't want to spoil it, but sorry about that, Neil.
How do you get?
Is what it is. Okay, that is pizza tomorrow, pineapple pizza. If we can get it, Lucas, if someone wants to run out, I don't know what time pizza's open. But okay, we'll get that eventually. We're just playing around, but good job, Neil. Hey, look, man, good sport, right?
I played myself. I was actually very, very confident.
I know you were.
No one was
I know you just said that.
The second I saw someone got, I'm like, is that the digital? Because Usher likes that group too, right?
I heard the end of it. I know. We have a couple friends. One of our friends, Mr. Gupta, you would know that, right?
Yeah.
So some of our friends there. So I know that. We're from Brampton, the streets of Brampton. So don't ever test that again, guys. Oh, there goes AMC. So we will fall that down, guys. We will go arrow down on AMC. There it is. You know, perfectly planned. We're still up on AMC. And there it goes. Oh, not perfectly planned. I still have a little bit of shares. Oh, we got to get out there. We'll offer it out and get them out there. It is at 43. So out of AMC, we fall that stock down the hole, but all good on that side because, you know, we thought we're taking the risk there with AMC. I'm most pissed, and I'm so glad that Neil has the short. I'm pissed off a little bit about Lowe's because it would have been a perfect.
Out of the money, though.
Oh, it's back up now. Okay, but it would have been a perfect day if we would have just held that, but we can't. We can't go perfect all the time. And today, Neo, we should have held that as well, but we're going to wait to see where that wants to go from here, guys. Neo.
So speaking of Lowe's, guys, so this all started with a breakdown at 187 on Lowe's. The reason I'll always scalp on it, if it is a breakout or a breakdown trade, I am never taking a break like that without scalping the first portion out on like a time basis. Like wherever it happens to stall in the first little bit, if it's a worthwhile out, I'll take like the 50 cents. Even if I think the stock could go $1, $1.50, whenever it's a break, just because I am always wary of that failed break trade snapping back on me and then just being an absolute trap. So as a day trader, a lot of times you'll do that where you take some out right away no matter what. You've seen it in Tesla. We'll do the same thing here with Lowe's. Brendan, what do you got, bud?
This needs no words, but here we go.
Okay. Someone said Elon tweet.
Yeah. Tesla has diamond hands, guys.
Yep, they do. Yeah, Tesla has a diamond hands and Elon money.
Didn't he
Elon
already
Musk
said he held
has
it, though?
cash money. So whether or not he has diamond hands or not, that makes no difference to anybody. Come on, Elon. Like, let's talk about like real people here for a minute. Look, whether or not Tesla.
If I had a gazillion dollars, I mean, I could hold anything too.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think there's a lot of traders here that are, wondering about Tesla's Bitcoin position. But look, guys, to be perfectly honest with you, who cares? Like, I don't think Tesla's screwing around with Bitcoin at all. But Elon Musk, we do know the kind of power that he has on the market. So good job. Thank you, Brendan, for bringing that to everybody's attention, as it is causing the market to go up. So whether or not I think this caused Elon, but like, they bought 1.5 billion worth. It's great. It's a huge amount. Thank you, Elon, for doing that. But ultimately, guys, like, there's certain companies that have tons of cash on hand, and I just don't think that Tesla is going to be the story here behind Bitcoin. If Apple or somebody comes in and says that they turn some of their cash into BTC, then maybe. But right now, Bitcoin on the move up. So thank you, Elon.
Yeah, I'm just making note in the chat. If they actually get this, I'm like, keep the receipt. We'll expense that one. That's anyways. I'll go to Coinbase here because as you mentioned that move there, whatever. Is the tweet making the move? I don't know. But there's that 220 finally breaking on coin, and that sort of leads you back into that let it be 221, right? So I'm going with that price. I already said that was going to be the case. So you get that break again, and I could put a different kind of stop order because I want to be at least a little bit, we have two different kinds of stops. One point, I promise we'll go over the difference between them, but I prefer one over the other. One actually shows up on our chart when we put it in. So I want 221 instead of 220 because that's failed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And if it doesn't break this 221 here, call it 6. And that's the entire reason why I don't mind paying an extra $1, guys, on that trade. I just want to make sure we're actually going through this level, which has been all kinds of resistance in the morning. So still not into a single trade in Coinbase today. After that crypto move, I'm a little shocked, but you never try to force anything here. You don't have to make new trades. You can always calm down and get the trade that you want. Still hasn't happened on Coinbase. Brendo?
Yeah, apparently, a lot of people talking about this. Kathy Wood apparently on Bloomberg right now talking up crypto markets as well, guys. So everyone throwing their assistance in to try and prop this up. Apparently, she said she still believes 500,000 is doable, but why not?
So thank you so much for the super chat, Trader Joe, to cover the pizza. It ain't about the money, man. It's honestly a good friend of mine. One of our friends, Sean, has said something that I live by. Principle is priceless, and paying for a pineapple pizza would make me sick to my stomach. So that's like someone else has to pay. Like look, it's all jokes aside. It's like probably like $20, whatever. I'll have a slice. It'll be a lot of fun, but I just don't like it. And paying for something you don't like makes me sick. I'm one of those people. People call me cheap. I am probably, to be honest with you. Really, Coinbase. I kind of thought I'm sitting there staring at the level 2, and as it sort of teetered between 220 and 221, I'm like, oh yeah, baby. It's failed broken like 2 or 3 times at this level. Let's zoom in so you can get a better look at it, and just no real dip back. It got to like 219.72. That doesn't really wash anybody out. At least I don't think it washes anybody out. It might go, it might go, it might go. And this 221 break, some shorts are probably going to be giving up the ghost. I was convinced it was about to break. And I'm just sitting here staring at it. And it's not like watching paint dry because it's at least kind of fun seeing all the dark pools go off on level 2. But still waiting for that first trade in Coinbase. I think it is imminent. And Lowe's, the follow through ain't there, guys. I might have to give the ghost up on this one. I don't want the market bouncing on me here, and I'm caught short the bottom on low. So I'll probably have to tighten my stop on that.
I wanted to look at AMC here a little bit because maybe it's bouncing here. We don't want to. We talk about going back to stocks that we've traded well today. AMC is a positive name for us. So good on that one. Oh, actually, there is a negative stock that I have. The one and done Thriller from Manila here. Thrilla from Manila on AMD. I mean, this was the one stock. It's so small that it flew under the radar here for me. So, in fairness of being honest, like we are always on the show, I am stuck in a loser here with AMD. So we'll try to make this back, and we won't revenge trade it. We're just going to look for some opportunities on AMD as it has been moving pretty good here right now. But what's up, Brendo with Money Talks?
Hey guys, yeah, let's get into some crazy moves. So far, as we've been discussing, these three, yeah, all still double-digit percent declines. 30 on the nose comes into play early on this morning as we were sitting here going back a couple months. That was a really, really key area of support, as you remember, before we got this move back to the upside. So it tested down there around that 30,000 level. Mark that down, going to be important going forward here, but still, yeah, big time numbers here to the downside for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple. Everything else pretty choppy, to say the least. Wanted to point out the Canadian dollar, yeah, down finally, 0.4% in negative territory. 82.5 for the CAD today. Some CPI data out in this country, a bit of a miss on that number. So Canadian dollar falling. The euro about flat on the day. It was down more than that earlier. British pound also in negative territory here, 0.35. Back to 141 for the British pound. But everyone obviously watching cryptos today, guys. You
better believe they are. And as usual, Brendan, I mean, it's on cue. There's a reason why we call him, there's lots of reasons why we'll call him the GOAT, but he tends to be good luck. We do get that 221 break finally on Coinbase. And look, if it's a breakout trade, I went over the reasons why I'm going to scalp a portion of it. It was immediately one iceberg that broke at 222. Second I saw it, I just joined, got some out, get the quick dollar scalp. It also happens to be, if you look at 220, this is random. If you look at 222, it was a double bottom in the pre-market before that little flush that we had. So another reason to take some off. I feel like there would have been some people holding from the pre-market level, happy to see that price get breached. The top end of that range was about 227. So you can look in the middle of it, like a 225. If it gets to 225, I reserve the right, if it's screaming into that level and spots going nuts, to pull that order and go up like $1, $1.50. But that's the range I want to be getting out of this Coinbase trade. So you don't have to take part in everything. You can wait for that one, what I think is a higher percentage play. You get it, hit it, get the scalp trade. Now you can hold a little bit, see if you get the bigger move. Patience does pay off sometimes. And I did say if that break happened, that this trade could find itself in some trouble. Now, fortunately, I've been able to get some out of SOS. What broke view up, got some 310s or a couple of times, actually. And then this time we tightened it up and got some out at 314. I'm not going to add back to this trade. Not with if coin's breaking to the upside and we're finding a bit of a base here and a bit of a bottom, and there's no reason to get back into more shares. If it breaks the high, I am out of SOS. No need to get stubborn, guys. But all it gives you is a few scalp wins. When it goes to the top, you can either still be up on the day or you can have lost less. Averaging in at this point, to me, would be making the wrong move here, despite the fact it still looked kind of good. If I think the recovery is coming through and I think we're bouncing to the upside, no need to double down on the short trade.
No, we're completely flat right now, guys. And I was actually looking back at Palantir now just to watch. Yeah, AMC still pushing to the downside. And, sorry if you're still stuck into this when we talked about why we wanted to get out breaking through 50, and this is why, man, all the way back to the downside. I like AMC. Wow. I think I actually forget about all the talk with Wall Street bets and everything like that. I mean, this is a reopen play for sure. So I do think, and we talked about the fair value back down to the 50 period. I think that's fair. Does that make sense? I think it can come back here. It has been riding this 50 period. We may dip a little bit below it, but watch out. I think this is a good spot. I mean, people are reopened now. They're going back to theaters. Obviously not here in Canada, but we'll wait on that here. And I think that that's going to be a good play at some point. AMC is just a lot of the steam out of it. That's the daily chart. Sorry, a lot of steam out of this move here today. So it makes sense, man. Risk coming off. Just be very, very careful. One that's been a rocket ship in the other way. What do you call it? Like just a missile on its way down, I guess. I mean, we call it falling swords, but rocket has just been, I don't know, taking the fuel out of it, I guess, rocket fuel. Downside, man, this bottom of 1630 has just been nasty. This is another name here that I think if you want to take a stab at something, there's going to be better names. I'll talk about Snowflake, things like that, but this has just been destroyed. I'm actually long $21 on this one off of these bases. When it broke, I mean, I just don't believe this break. I don't know how low is it going to go from here. We'll see. But Rocket right now, a position that I'm out of the money in. So not a good one there on RKT. Roblox, though, congratulations to my kid. Keeps telling me to buy this thing all the time. Has no idea what he's doing, but that's sometimes the best with investing. This is what Roblox looks like. You know what? Like, I actually consider this a pretty successful IPO, considering what other IPOs in the last
One of the best I've seen in a year.
Yeah, have looked like. So I don't know where there's an in or where there's an out here, but this is what Roblox looks like. So we'll see if it has any moves today, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention because up 1.3%, pretty nice now for Roblox. And again, I think that if the virus, and knock on wood, and let's hope that there's absolutely no more virus talk after today or after this next round, but Roblox is a stay-at-home stock, so there is some potential here in case the virus somehow gets out of hand again, which we're hoping not. Roblox is a stay-at-home play, so that could get going again, guys. What's up, Brendan?
XPEV, guys, just wanted to make a note here. We got above this last little pivot from yesterday, 27.75, trying to hold in this area right now. But another one from the EV group outside of that ride we mentioned earlier, having a nice day, up 1.2% for XPeng.
Yeah, and as you mentioned that, turning green on the day, one of our viewers mentioning Fisker through the top here at 12.25. So, look, there's a lot of charts that have made some recoveries, but this one is at we looked at this level before. It's about a 12.25 bottom that you got over in April, and then there was a breakdown. That's what led you towards that 9 even. So recovering above this price, at least on the chart, obviously there's more to it than just looking at a chart. We traders, so we're going to do it. This 12.25 is a fantastic level. It's just, it's gotten pennies above here. It got like to 12.28, but this is a key little breakout. I'm telling you, if we can hold VWAP here on this one, it looks fantastic for the afternoon, especially if this market gets anywhere close to green. You got to love a setup like this, bouncing off VWAP all morning long, wipeout bottom that held the higher lows all the way through, a significant level that it's retracing at that 12.25 on the daily chart. I don't know what else I can tell you. It looks pretty good to me. At this point, I'm not gonna take a breakout trade at 11 even, but I'll buy a dip into 12 if I can get it into VWAP here. That's one of those where if it consolidates, holding 12 to 12.25, you get your might be power hour when we're back at 3:15, but it could be earlier than that. So watch out for like a 20-30 cent range if it holds that. One of those 1:30 secondary breaks. Fisker looks pretty good for that. You'd call it a 12:30 break. So line that one up. First things first, I'd be buying a dip off of a VWAP, or call it 12 even.
Tilray time. Let's have a quick look at some of these cannabis names and see what's happening with Weed Batman in the building here. So Tilray, obviously a NASDAQ name, just took over from Afria. So let's wait to see. The merger has been completed. The 1 minute chart, sorry guys, I thought it was doing more than this when I saw it down 4%, but it's not. So nothing to trade here. Nothing to see here. Please close your eyes and look away. On Tilray, nothing going on. This is an interesting name to me now that I look at it here. NEO actually... Come on, charts. NEO actually just came back a little bit here. So we can watch NEO falling back down here. This is the 1 minute chart back through VWAP. Kind of surprising as NASDAQ back to its day high. So don't know why NEO's so weak here. This may be worth a little bit of a baby long maybe on NIO. So that could be something to look at here if you like that. We can check back on the daily chart. Yeah, it's not much. On that. So NEO, not sure why it's fading out when this is near the highs. I bet you are softy. Yeah, 241. So that's at the day high. Did Palantir finally break 21? No, it didn't. Another opportunity to short 21 there. We want to be a buyer of Palantir though now. I think. Anyways, back at this 50 period, it's held it pretty good here. Sorry, this is VWAP. It's held it pretty good on the 1 minute chart. So let's wait to see if that can come into play again here for PLTR right now, 2062, guys, right now. I like that spot. We'll just see if it can come back. That's a name. Mara today. No surprise there. If you're holding Mara, you know about it. It's down 10%. Bitcoin's battled back quite nicely though, as has Ethereum. As has Cardano, 150. Hell yeah. Check out this, guys. Bitcoin nicely back. You were live on the show, guys, when we were talking about this, when this thing was at 3,000, 30,000. You just made basically everything back. This is not that bad anymore. Back to 40,000. Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Musk. Those of you that are hating on him from before, you may like him now. Look at Ethereum's bottom, 18 guys there. I bought at 25, I bought at 22, and now we're back to 26. Will it hold? Who knows? But a beautiful bounce back again, almost another 50% almost back. 18 plus 9, right? 27. That's almost right where we're back to right now on ETH. So wow, congratulations anybody bought those dips. And then you guys know what I was doing on ADA. We talked about that. Hello, $1? Yeah, I'll take it, and I'll take a lot of it. Thank you very much.
Exactly, and look, it's a fantastic opportunity. That's the downside. We talked about this at the open of the show. I mean, the downside of some of those, and I love the purpose ETFs. It's just you have to wait for the market to open, which can be a downside to actively trading in capturing some of those moves. I wouldn't have all these positions on if I wasn't, most of them just sitting there monitoring as they're in the money. But some of these have gotten range bound, and if you're range bound in the money, you can kind of hang on and not be too concerned. But I wanted to point out Mosey. Halt at 516, reopened, held that bottom, so I had no entry there. When it finally broke down, that's when we got the short. Obviously I'd taken some out already. I wanted it to break down to 475 area and then get some more shares out. And then if it gets to 450, look to cover the rest of the trade there. It bounces back to the upside. Look at this top wick, 515. Halt price 516. Hold on the reopen 516, short on the breakdown. It comes right back. I mean, I should have been getting more shares here at 510 or whatever, but I did miss that opportunity. And most of it has to do with that time of day, not wanting to dig into positions or average in or add more risk on when it gets past 11 o'clock. So that's probably more of a thing if it had happened at like 10:30 or so. I'm probably going to be more aggressive in doing it. The longer it fails to break down, the more chance I kind of feel like it has to break towards the top and make another a run at that high. And if it does do that, I'm not necessarily in love with shorting 575. I'd probably take one shot at it. I still like 7 a heck of a lot better. I told you all about lows, how it was coming back. And again, this is going to be me. I said I'm going to tighten up my stop here because it doesn't want to go. So we make 50 cents, we lose 50 cents, go flat overall on that last trade there to add to the losing trade that we add to the short side. And of course, that means it's probably about to continue this rollover that you're seeing. So somehow, Lowe's has managed to be weak, except for a couple of moves off of the open, and still be down on the session. And I haven't been able to make money shorting it. So it happens to you. I feel like we've dodged a bullet by not being too stubborn with it. We should update that one so it looks a little bit better. I feel like it's an old one, but I wanted to try it anyways. It's a good idea. I'd like the little Matrix accent, dodging the bullet there. But yeah, a little bit of a gangster, if I have to use a word for it. Anyways, Lowe's, we've dodged some bullets by not being too stubborn with this particular name. But overall, it has been an opportunity for a short. I just haven't been able to bank on it. So it is what it is. Sometimes your read isn't there. Brennan?
Just checking on NIO. As we noted, definitely relatively weak on the day. You can still see 3.5% to the downside. Not really doing anything. Just stuck to 33 at the moment. There was actually a note that came out saying that the Chinese government is going to favor local EV makers over foreign manufacturers like Tesla in China. So you would think that would be positive for an NIO. We see XPeng rallying, but don't see anything else, guys, on NIO.
Okay, well, thanks, Brendan. I mean, that's what's good about, obviously, having the issue with the news. Like, we have the Icon terminal. Brendan can get that right away. And so I'm going to stay away. Like, if we're not seeing anything, if anything, come on, Mara, switch the charts. If anything, we're going to stay away from NIO right now because I just feel like it should be up. That's enough news right there and enough sort of confusion about the news, I guess, to lead me away from that. So we're not gonna sit here and worry about NIO anymore. We're gonna let it go up, basically, do its own thing here. So let NIO do its own thing. I'm going to stay away, see what that news is. Obviously, that's horrible news for, not horrible, but Tesla building that plant there as well. That could be something. Wow, Tesla. Like, why? How is Tesla doing this today? And that's what I mean. Like, the tweet comes out, and I told you, it's nothing to do with Tesla. Like, no one really cares about that. But nice little move to the downside now, I guess. We're still at that 550 level. Very, very bottom, 544. So, if you're going to play off 550, you definitely got to give it $6 worth of room to that downside. And then you have an upside. If you think the NASDAQ's about to pop, Tesla's probably not the best name because of this barcoding today. I would look at something a little more aggressive, maybe like a Square. I guess Square has tied exactly to Bitcoin as well. So let's just watch this market. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on Tesla. I'd rather stay away. This Chinese government stuff is whack. Like, we saw them affect crypto today, like down 40% on Ethereum because of China. Like, I'm done. I don't know what kind of, like, what if they ban Tesla? Okay, like some stuff like that could happen, guys. So just be very, very careful with your positions.
And Tesla relies on that market. That's a big time market for them. So it's one of those, like, it is hard to add unless you get a fantastic price on the dip. I just want to note this Coinbase is still in the midst of this same range. So it's never broken below 220.50 since we've gotten along on the 21 break. It hasn't gotten above 223.50, which oddly enough, I mean, you look at some of these bottoms that have put it in the pre-market, not too surprising you get a bit of a cluster. That's one of the reasons why you want to make sure you're scalping some out. Now, at this point, the longer this goes on, I'm inclined to say if it breaks at 220.50, enough is enough. I don't want this making another leg down, downside here. So, I would have given it a little bit more room than that. But now I want to say if it breaks to the downside, I'll risk about 50 pennies. And sometimes you'll put like a tighter stop on a trade once it's moved in the money for you, or set up a bit of a range there. And that's exactly what I'm sort of seeing. And I've done this before in lows. Did it work out? Probably not, but I haven't had the best read on lows. So I got my stop. It's tightened up a little bit here on Coinbase. Still think it could go. The fact that it's stalling out, and I already told you I wasn't going to average into to SOS. Clearly, if I did just get right back in anywhere in that 20 to 21 range, I'd be getting right back out for that scalp trade of VWAP. But I told you guys, once we broke to the upside, got that Coinbase long, thought we were making a bit of a bottom, I'd stop getting more shares short of SOS. That's what we did. We're right back into VWAP. I'll probably pop a bid down in 15 if we can catch that. Fantastic. Get some out at 12. At this time of the day, you can see these things start to tighten up. You can see it start to slow down. Got to take some more shares off as it works into profitability here, anticipating that you could be in this for, probably all of lunchtime, and I want to make sure I'm profiting during that time. Brendan?
I was just checking on that. Squarespace, for anybody wondering, there's a direct listing today. Squarespace, there was a reference of 50 I saw that was given. It's indicating right now, it looks like 44 to 47. For Squarespace, guys, but still supposedly coming to market today on the NYSE, Squarespace, SQSP.
I can tell you, Brendan, there's 1 million shares in the book to sell at 45 because that's right here on my level too. So someone's got an aggressive limit order to sell. If the reference price is 50, judge for yourselves as to how successful that one's going to be in terms of holding up. So, we haven't really had too much of luck getting any, whether it's IPO or whether it's a direct listing, having them open up in a timely fashion. It used to be, I don't know, maybe this has to do with how long we've been trading here, Sean. It used to be that almost every single one of these would open before 11 o'clock and you get some trading. We've seen 1 o'clock? I forget which one it was. It opened past 1 o'clock at 1:30, which is crazy to me. And if you can't get it open so people can trade more than half a day on it, what are we talking about? Whatever. I could probably rant about this too many times here. I'm going to go back to Ride, if only because there was no way that short was ever going to work that we had, but right back to that 11. So it breaks out, goes a little bit further. It's right back to that 11, the same place we were shorting before. So no coincidence that it finds some support. If it was a good entry, it's probably going to be some support on the way back in. If it breaks this, you kind of look for that, retrace 11, hold it all afternoon long, and then maybe you get a short off of that price that you can hang on to, guys. So Ride back on my radar. I sat it out once it didn't make sense to me. Once it comes back into those prices that we like, I start thinking about another trade. Coinbase, of course, once I tighten my stop, goes back in the money a couple of dollars to 23. At this point, if it gets to 25, I'm definitely taking the $4 winner for sure.
There we go. Okay, yeah, just looking at Tesla, still not doing anything at all. So we'll wait on that one to see where we. Now my keyboard doesn't want to work. That's good. Okay, we'll look at something else, I guess. Okay, Microsoft still doing nothing. I want to stay away. Palantir back upside as well. Micron, AMD, Plug making a decent move today. Let's go have a quick look at Plug back to flat now off that low bottom there. Plug Power. Wow, 25 to 27. That reminds me, let's check out what XL Fleet is doing. Another name that we like, XL Fleet here, 675. This is one of the names that I like in the EV space. Again, turning F-150s and whatnot into EV. I know Ford's all about that anyways, so Ford's a good name. And then Fisker, Neil, you've looked at that today as well. 12. Okay, yes. Good on Fisker. That reminds me, let's go over to Ford quickly just to have a quick look here. 1205, okay, so it's not at that level yet. I'm not really super interested. We looked at this yesterday. Ford below here was great, like in the morning. There's way better stocks to pick up, but wow, what a good move that was on Ford in the morning time. So obviously something to look at there if you like that. But for me on Ford, we're not gonna really get too excited until we get above here, 1260, 1250 or so, right? And so until we get there, I don't know, it's right on this move. I last bought 1131, so all good up in there. But for right now, I don't know, man. Ford is struggling to get past this 50 period. It's been a big move up there, so I do like it, but it is struggling a little bit here on these tops. Nice move, just today, obviously, with the market down. I don't expect Ford to be rocking and rolling, but I would have liked to see that 55 there. I don't think we got up there yesterday, but again, I like to see Ford near 50 and just check back in on GM. I'm just doing this roundabout because I really do believe more in some of these stable names. Like if you like EV space, I mean, GM's going to be in there. They're in there now. They're developing. Like they're gonna roll out tons of EV names. So is Ford. So I think this is a much safer play as opposed to some of those other. I don't need to call up the charts. You guys know how brutal that's been in the EV space. So look how good GM looks on a chart. This is a daily, right? So that looks pretty solid. I think if you want some EV look without the downside, you're not going to get the upside either. But GM, a pretty solid play.
Yeah, I mean, I like a GM. I'm with you there. And Sean's got no positions on, which is at this time of day, of course, that's going to be a usual thing. And like I said before, I only have some of these because like the LPTH continues to slide down. I just got some shares out in front of 55. It finally broke that 60 barrier that's been hanging out in. I'll have a bid in front of 51. I have some old bids down here. When I made that first flush, I was like, okay, I want to get some out there in front of 40s and in front of 225. So that one's been a good one. Coinbase just popped $3 in the money, and then I know it's not moving too rapidly. It got to 224, but that was, again, exactly at 24 on a dime that it stalled out and sort of pulling back in here. So I'm not really going to move my stop just yet, but I kind of feel like that 25 target makes some sense for that bit of a scalp trade. So we're going to keep that one on. I still have CCL, which, and of course, I never really got a chance to add some of those bids. And at this time of the session, I got to do this, which is, at this point, 1, 2, and hopefully maybe like a third time, it's trying to test not 2750, but like 2745. So a bit shy of that 2750 level. Looks like it's primed for a bit of a breakout. At this point, if it fails, I don't know that I love just blindly coming back in and going long at the 90s. Certainly not at 27 even. So I'm going to hang on to the shares I have. I think it's set up, if the market continues to try to make this comeback, it's set up for a 27.50 break for sure. So I want to be adding on that level if I can, but no longer going to be buying a VWAP dip on Carnival Cruise Lines, not at this time of day, guys. So basically everything is in the money for me right now. But I am adding that no more dip VWAP buy on Carnival and a breakout at 27.50, which looks like it's coming any second now. Or any minute now.
Any minute, yeah, any second, any minute.
Any second on my ad.
Okay, so I was just looking at AMC, and I'm just thinking that we may have made a bottom there at 30. So I think this is probably worth a small long. We'll take a little bit here, and then we'll bid a little bit lower as well to see what happens here on AMC. So did I have the chart up? Yes, I did. Okay, good. So there's AMC. We are now long again. Just looking at this bottom here, a NASDAQ blowing up right now, so that's great. It was down. I think it was down at one point, anyways, 2% or near there. So now it's right back to the upside, so that's nice to see. So let's see if AMC can't hold this bottom here. What we're looking at, 1230 on AMC, the 20-minute chart. And again, I've traded today 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 names, and we're negative on AMD. But here we go, AMC now. What was I looking at? Oh yeah, these bottoms. What is this price? Okay, 1226. That's good. Okay, so that's not bad. So that's basically where we held. So we just held right now. Yeah, exactly. 1227. So we held down back here. So the 14th, 13th, those levels held. So let's wait. Look at this. Wow. Okay. We just went long AMC there. 47. See if we can get this up to 57. We'll take that infamous dime piece there. It does go to 57. We were looking at the chart. Okay, we put an offer there now. Hopefully we'll get hit. And then again, I want to get longer. I took this as an early position, so it's not a heavy one, but we did want to get longer if it does come back down here now, especially now that we've seen that 27. So here it comes. Give me the dime, and then we'll wait for more, but I'd like to reload this if it keeps going to the upside. Maybe I don't even want a dime. Maybe we have this at the bottom now, but whatever. Okay, we'll take out some, and then we'll just wait. So right now, good trading on AMC. It's a position we have. It's right away in the money, 6 pennies. Not great, but let's see if it goes just a little bit more. I think we can get back to this level, 78. I guess that's just VWAP. So here we go, back to 78. That's where we'll get out.
There you go. You find the stocks that are moving. That's what it's all about. I mean, I said CCL any second now, and of course, it touches 49. It touches 49, then reverses on me there. So I thought it was imminent. It looks like it'll take one more test. At this time of day, sometimes when the market's trying to rebound, I look for what is not moving to the upside. And it's not to pick on Wish every single day, but I'm noting its relative weakness here, not bouncing whatsoever, and it's got a triple top at 880. So I feel like at Power Hour, we could be right back on the short train and Wish. Brendo?
Right on cue. As you guys are talking about AMD there, I just saw WDC, another one just popping up here. You can see volume coming back into this one as well. So back above 70.5 for Western Digital trying to go as well.
Yeah, Western Dig. Yeah, good name. We actually hit that. Oh, that was a name that we crushed the other day, right, Brendo? Yeah, you brought it to us when it was at its all-time high. I believe it was Okay, yeah, was it 76? Let me have a quick look. I thought it was 76, but it makes sense that we've fallen down. Yeah, that is what it was, $76. Western Digital there. Oh, come on, chart. This is that great play. Wow, this is actually down quite a bit from that level. This is probably a better buy right now than AMD, actually. There it is. Yeah, we hit this on the break when it was at 76 there. Nice movement, but now pullback. Wow, a big pullback back down right now. Let's check out my favorite AMD quickly. We did trade this one today, and oh yeah, that's right. We can't look at the daily for this. Yeah, wow. Okay.
This is a great level almost.
Yeah, this is a great one. So now we're starting to rip up upside right now. Going back to positive. So AMD, I think if you're looking to buy something, probably AMD might be your play just because of the way this is moving right here. Nice movement to the upside, only down 0.2 with the NASDAQ still down that 0.6. I like AMD here. What's up, Beep?
So Zim, Integrated Shipping Services, wins the day apparently because, yeah, 11% for ZIM. I've never even heard of this company, but apparently they are a shipping company. And if you're a shipping company in today's environment, you're doing very well. This is all-time highs, guys, off of earnings for ZIM.
I mean, the only reason I remember that you mentioned that stock, Brendan, is because I said something about Invader Zim under my breath, which is, I love that show. It's a fantastic. You probably never, none of you guys have seen it, but it's a fantastic cartoon. I looked at Western Digital and just said to myself, I mean, you get the flush out bottom, you get the retake of this level here, that's 71, which you're essentially breaking now. So I grab a long in front of it at 71.18. You can go back to a couple of levels here. You can, I mean, there was this little gap on the 14th. Keep coming back to the 14th, so like 70, 30 or so, which makes sense to me. If you zoom in, this is a 15-minute chart, by the way, guys. You can look at what you prefer. I look back at like a 70, 50 level. So a couple of decent outs that you can have on the way back into the downside here. So I love that setup. There's plenty of room for it to run. All I had was Coinbase, which is deep in the money. And then, of course, CCL, which, again, we're looking at a top break, something which is in the midst of a recovery. Sometimes you are willing to buy through the high. I want to add to my CCL if it breaks 27.50. I really don't mind this chance at Western Digital here, risking about 50 or 60 cents to see if it can't even just push right back into some of these. I mean, look, you're only talking about like 73 in the pre-market here. 72.50 is even pretty reasonable. That's like a buck and a half, almost $2. Risking 50 to 60 pennies makes sense to me, especially with the market trying to climb back up.
Yeah, we did get it. So let's just go punching it out again. Little delayed there. AMC, nice trade there. Again, just scalping it back, and we're just putting some profits in our pockets here again today. So let's just keep on going with the momentum here. Nice move back. I am like over the moon right now about Ether and about Cardano, which I mean. I've just made here, like forget about stocks. I told you guys this over and over again. There's risk associated with crypto. I mean, obviously, when we're talking about a day like today, I mean, I don't need to tell you guys that. So there's risk associated, but we were live on the show. Like I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. We were live on the show when I bought Cardano down here. So 110 up to 160, right? Like that's right there, a 50% return in just a matter of 2 hours. So I hope some of you were able to do that. Find your favorite ones, buy them, and then hold on for dear life. And I actually even tweeted it out. Follow me on Twitter if you do want any of those calls and you just want to like follow some of the things that I'm doing or share some of your ideas with me, guys. So I think that that's just something that's super important that you do, and you got to sort of believe in some of the names. And that led me to Palantir as well. Back when we were investing in Palantir down here, man, like I know about the company. I knew it's 17 years old, had no idea why it wasn't taking off, had a bad IPO situation. It was direct listing, and then all of a sudden, man, just took off. So we loaded up here and then enjoyed this. So, that's kind of what we did with ADA down there, Cardano. But hey, look, man, you got to take some risk on some of these plays. Can't believe we missed out on Palantir 1650. We did get 1850, so that's pretty good now back into the money. And then here goes AMC again. I still feel same kind of thing about that. Basing out down here, right? As soon as we notice that, and I've only traded 7 names, and we're going to go 6 for 7 today. The only mistake is a small loss on AMC, but as you're seeing a rip up now, 1260, 1270, good little move on AMC. Let's see if we get back to this level. 1280 is where I'm looking. With only 10 minutes to go, I kind of feel bad that this show's almost about to end, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's been obviously it's been a wild ride, and it's been a fun one for sure. I have a bunch of positions. We talked about them all here, but ride is one we could get back into. It's continuing to push back down to that 11 level. It's the only level I'm going to like to the short side trade. So you could see that one come back in here in just a little bit. It's been a pretty fun one, as you mentioned. And there's one stock which has been And I usually will, I say when ONTX with a penny stock like this, if it does something significant, we'll talk about it. So shorted in the morning, I told you about the short pop, and then I told you when it tried to take that 80, it's actually back into VWAP. So it's like, you wait. I mean, could you get in down here at 83? I've done this before in Sundial, where the one mistake you can make is when it goes that deep, start getting back into a short way too early when it's gone that far to the downside. You can take a shot here at like an 86, 87 if you like it, but you're wrong until it gets to 90. Maybe not. So I'd rather get into like 89, 90, get back in at that particular price. I mean, that's my last shorts. We're here at 89 and then at 90. And that's exactly what I'll do again. If it breaks this high, which is 91, I'm out. But the mistake I've made in the past, and one time I gave like everything in the back and then some on Sundial by getting short at the low. So it's not a broken VWAP. This will be on the radar with a couple more pennies here. And it's done 40 million shares, which is only okay. Usually I'd want it over 100 million, but it is what it is. Today's session, we'll have to take it. It's been good so far. Hopefully even better if I get that fill up around 89.
Yeah, thank you. So, and this is Boxer Puppy. Honestly, like this is what we're talking about. Like, and this is what means the most to me, because I I was talking earlier, and I said I was nervous about a NASDAQ blow up. Wow, Cardano, like, hallelujah on that one. 167 now. Wow. I mean, me and Greg talked about it when I went and got some water there. What a great move. There's actually speechless about that move back in crypto. BTFD like every single time, guys, as far as I'm concerned. Or you might want to sell this rip if you got long. I may get out of some. But this is what I'm talking about here. Boxer Puppy, great show today. Even though the waters were unsettling, you guys calmed the storm. And it's just, that's the thing. Yes, Matthew, what's up? Cardano, yep. Okay, you guys need to show like 1.5 hours longer? Well, then we got to start charging you, Jay. What would you pay for this? Anyways, discussion for another day. The point I was trying to get at here was that, look, as long as, and again, it's not to say, these sticky notes aren't going to mean everything to everybody, but the point about it is that you got to have, sometimes you just got to be prepared. Have some names that you like. Have some levels that you like, and then just play off those, right? And then just calm down. Lower your shares. I'm much higher than I was yesterday at this point, like infinitely higher, right? So calm down, take your trades, know the names that you like. Go back to Softy. Go back to some of those names that you talk about, that we talk about all the time. Know your trading, and you'll be fine. So I think that's just the most important. Like, look at this AMC. We talked about this. Know your trade. Know your trade. And now we get out of half for the dime, and now we're in the money 20 cents, right? So we're sort of just kind of like rinse and repeating the same strategies every day here, guys. Just make sure you're disciplined. That's the number one thing.
Yeah, and I just actually, speaking of discipline, I just got out of my coin trade. A little bit shy of that, like 224 and change, but there was a big seller that popped on the offer at 223.75. Once it broke, I'm like, I'll take it. I just got out of that one. So you're patient with it. It gave you that one shot to come back in. I talked through tightening my stop, talked about the target, whether or not you use that level 2, which I just saw, to get out a little bit shy, or you take the extra like 50 cents to $1 is certainly up to you. At that point, it is what it is. You're getting past that 11 o'clock time and starting to slow things down, and you'll want to make sure you're preserving profit, taking profit as well. Only because I did wait around for it. Finally, I mean, it'll load up here. Let's go. Finally, CCL does break that 27.50. We were long several times. We got 27s. We waited for a dip at 26.90. We got this last one at 95s. We hung on. We scalped some of it up. We've hung on for this break at 50. So I add to it. It's basically a new position. If we're being realistic about it, I still have a little bit on. Not much left from that last little buy below 27 even. So now looking for the breakout trade in Carnival Cruise Line. So patience works off. ES is clawing slowly back to the upside. It's really the NASDAQ leading the way, down only 0.5%. And that's the real thing. We're not down like 3%. We never really were. Some of these moves to the downside, I mean, crypto was a fantastic and a crazy flush. So catching those bottoms were fantastic. But the overall market never really looked too bad. Some names were in trouble, but a lot of the names that you feel more comfortable in gave you some actionable levels if you're calm enough to sort of buy some of these bottoms. That's why I went to Carnival. I was pretty comfortable with that one. So you find your comfort zone, you play the levels, you execute your plan, and there's really nothing more to trading than that, to be honest with you guys. So, and no, I have not forgotten that I do have to eat pineapple on a pizza at some point. We'll figure that one out. It might be tomorrow. I don't know if these guys actually ordered something.
It'll be too late now. I mean, yeah.
It's probably tomorrow.
No, there'll be a slice here tomorrow. You don't have to worry about that. Okay, 12.64. I'll just buy it on the way. I don't want to buy it on the way home. I want to get a fresh one. We'll find.
I'm not eating cold.
I'm going to find out,
Fresh,
well,
maybe,
dish
right?
best served cold. We're going to find out if our pizza place right across the road, what time they open. And then we'll go there tomorrow. But okay, I'm just sending out a tweet. Thank you so much, guys, today for all the love that's been on the show here. It's been fantastic. And I'm just glad that you guys are able to stick with us and make some money back in your accounts, or just make more money into your accounts today. Or if not, lose as much as maybe you would have if you weren't as disciplined. So that's a good move. 1270 there on AMC. Just probably going to get out right now on that move. I mean, that's 20 cents now. We're long at 47. So that was a nice little 25-cent rip. We'll see. The NASDAQ just takes out day's high again. So the NASDAQ just, I mean, look at this. Every time, this is what's nice, man. Every time there's a move down, it's followed by bigger moves up. Like, this looks awesome. Down, back up, down. Like, you know, you can almost draw a chart here, like lower highs just keep getting put in here, right? So nice movement all the way to the upside. I like that kind of a look. As I tilt my head, you can see how involved I'm getting with that. But Brendan, right now, is you getting ready to close the show, bud?
Yeah, a couple minutes ago, guys, we're still in earnings season. That means we got to have a look at what's coming up. Aftermarket tonight before the open tomorrow. Still some interesting names on this list. Make sure you come back at 3:15. We will discuss once again this afternoon. Just FYI, that's top left, that's 10-cent holdings, not 10-cent music, if anyone's wondering.
Right. I mean, you still have some, like, you're going to still get I mean, Kohl's is coming through, so you're going to still get a little bit of that retail space ending it off. We've had some of the bigger names. I mean, Canadian Solar, if you're interested, can be a bit of a mover sometimes. L Brands, maybe. I kind of feel like you look at what's going today, and it can be back at that EV space, not to double down on some of these bigger movers here, but I think the EV space continues to be in place. We'll be looking at some of those. And then, you know, some of the crypto plays certainly are going to be on the move. So I wouldn't dig too much into these earnings here. There is one in the bottom right-hand corner that Mark Roberts mentioned, and of course, Cisco, some of the old tech are coming into play, so they report.
Yeah, Cisco's been a nice little stock there. Doesn't move too much. We could check out Cisco, like Mark was saying there. I mean, look, right now, I think what Mark was getting at too, like I bought IBM on their 2 quarters ago at 118. Again, tweeted that one out. That's been a fantastic play. But look at Cisco. You know, nice move to the upside. Really hasn't faded back. You do have that 50-period moving average. It's just watched it the whole time. Again, this is a daily chart. But the thing about Cisco is it doesn't have like, you know, monster moves. I mean, this was March, so we knew that was coming. This was part of that tech rebalancing a little bit there in the fall, and then straight to the upside. So remember, like, Cisco's still well below where it was in 2019. I don't encourage this as an investment, but if you're trying to hide somewhere right now, I think Cisco's not a bad spot. I mean, they do have a small dividend coming into play as well. So Cisco back to 50 tomorrow would be a surprise. So I think if you're going to play anything off earnings, like I said, Lowe's, I thought had a good report today, down 2.27. Home Depot, and look at Lowe's chart, right? This is what I mean about Cisco, right? Remember Cisco in 2018, I just showed you, was right up here. Cisco's at the same level. Like Lowe's back in 2018, 97. So that's a double, right? And they still pulled back. Home Depot, very, very similar chart. I mean, you want to put your money into something, not Cisco. Look if you put your money into Home Depot where it was in 2019, probably right around, or even lower. Good call. $200. That was almost a double, not almost a double, but you know, up a bit more. And that's faded off of earnings as well. So I don't know, man. I think the rhetoric's going to stay the same. If you report, you're going to be in trouble in this environment. So let's wait to see. That could be false, but Cisco, a safe place for your cash.
Exactly. I mean, also too, in some of those retail, I mean, well, consumer discretionary places have been pretty safe as well. You're talking like your Procter & Gamble's and your Pepsi's. They're never sexy, but they look pretty good in your portfolio in the long term. I'm already, usually I get hungry at this time because it's lunch, but also because we do what National Day it is. So despite the fact that I'm thinking about pineapple pizza, which doesn't make me very hungry, let's go to Ms. V to see what National Day it is. I have already gotten a peek, and it's a good one.
Hey guys, it's already a pretty tense day so far. I wish you all to stay safe, and if for any reason you didn't like this video yet, please make sure to click the like button right now. Well guys, we'll see you later, and happy National Devil's Food Cake Day, everyone. Looks so good.
Oh, Devil's Food Cake.
Chocolate.
Right, chocolate on chocolate on chocolate on chocolate. Devil's Food Cake. Very, very nice. I don't have the super sweet tooth, but I do like that, so I give thumbs up to Devil's Chocolate Cake.
I do have a sweet tooth. I prefer pie to cake, but yeah, you go chocolate on top of chocolate. You got me right there. I defy you not to like this one, Brendan.
There we go.
Yeah, I'll jump on board, sure.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
Why not?
Finally.
I've never actually heard it called that, but sure, yeah. Chocolate cake.
Yeah, yeah, it's black on black. It's chocolate on chocolate on chocolate. So Devil's Food Cake, yeah, coming through there. We like it. I always thought Brendan was going to say no there, so that's a good one.
He usually does.
Yeah, on the sweet stuff there. So good job there on Brendan for liking that, I guess. But if you like that, great. I like vanilla a little bit too. But anyways, whatever. I agree with Neil. I love to eat that pie, guys.
And I love a good rum cake, like oh my goodness, my aunt makes like the greatest rum cake. My wife makes a fantastic rum cake. You just let it marinate and marinate. For like a year, we've had a pot just stewing. You add a little rum to it from time to time, every month or so, and then when you bake it, it's just like you actually get drunk off it. But it's so fantastic, and now I'm just super hungry at this moment.
You can enjoy it with pineapple pizza even.
Oh, good, for the love of God. Anyways, no. Okay, fine, I gotta eat it tomorrow. You're throwing me off here. I hate pineapple pizza. I can't believe I box myself into that corner, but I'll do it because I'm a man of my word. It's been a fun one, guys. Do not forget to tune back in at 3:15, Power Hour. We're going to come right back for what you know is going to be an exciting close. The entire team will be there. Maybe we'll be green by that time. Miss V's dressed correctly for that. So
Good.
right down the line for Miss V, for Brendan Wickens, for myself, Neil Roberts, and for Sean Katina, because I'm going in order this time. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live. See you at the close, guys.